Hey, good morning, Frankie.
Good morning there, Chris.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Sitting
Good.
here with the StreamYard on and ready to rock and roll, pal.
Yeah, so you can people can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube, so that's cool.
Isn't that great?
What did you think? Well, I'll let you save it because I know we got the show coming up here, and we'll get your thoughts on that. But obviously,
predictable and uninspiring. How's that?
yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. There was the governor's third state of the state last night. And it was that's a pretty that's a pretty good way to put it. I like that.
Well, but this one was done completely different because she had to do it from her office and not in front of the full chamber,
right?
And so that was totally different. So there'll be I don't think there'll be any controversy over her outfit. So let's put it that way.
Well, I hope not. I mean, the outfit thing is a little overplayed.
That was a couple years ago, yeah.
A couple years ago, yeah. But no, I thought. I mean, I didn't think that. I think that there wasn't really much surprising that she said. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, just wait. Someday I'll tell the story. You know what story I'm talking about too.
I don't know. Mark Gardner.
How our governor looks.
Yeah, Mark Gardner says, "Good morning, Frank. Looking forward to an awesome show."
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
I got to say, the people have been excited for you to get on StreamYard.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah. Well, it's just a new. It's a new thing. So it's it's a new way to engage with the show. So I think people are excited.
Well, last time we did this, I got some pushback because I didn't have any memorabilia from my sports broadcasting career.
Oh,
I don't really have it up in my office, so I made sure I dug into the closet and took out that football right there. You see it behind me?
I do see it. Yeah. What football is that?
That is the football that I received from the National Football Foundation when I won the Chris Schenkel Award for football
sweet
broadcasting. Yeah,
awesome.
We went to New York to get it, and it was great. The whole family went.
Cool.
But that was a football they gave me, and it was really cool.
All right, well, we're going to go live here. So I'm going to put the station up and we'll get it going. So once you hear the music, like normal, you fire away.
Have you been told you need spine surgery or just sick of living in pain? The Disc Institute has a proven, painless alternative. If your neck, back, or sciatic pain is due to a herniated, degenerative, or bulging disc, then you actually have two problems. One, your pain, and two, your bad disc. Drugs, therapies, epidurals, and new pain lasers are designed to only treat your pain, but they're not designed to treat your disc problem. And this is crucial because your bad disc is what's causing your pain in the first place. Without addressing your disc problem will get worse, which can ultimately lead to surgery. At the Disc Institute, we have a proven solution to solve both of your problems, your pain and the bad disc that's causing it, with our high-tech, non-invasive treatments. This is what can stop your pain without surgery. Call me at the Disc Institute at 586-416-DISC. That's 586-416-3472. We'll even review your MRI for no charge. Call 586-416-DISC. Reclaim your life.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
And welcome in to the Frank Beckmann Show, our State of the State wrap-up broadcast that we broadcast traditionally from the state capitol and from the Speaker's Library, where we try not to let the crayons color over the lines. But just kidding, Speaker Wentworth, but you know that was coming. Jason Wentworth, the Speaker, will be joining us this morning. So will Mike Shirkey, and we'll have other guests as well. And get your phone calls as well at 800-859-0957. Glad to be with you on StreamYard this morning from our home studios, and glad that you're with us on the Frank Beckmann Show. The governor's State of the State last night. I'm not sure what was more newsworthy, what Governor Whitmer had to say, or finding out that Jennifer Granholm, who's up for Energy Secretary, she and her husband own between $4.4 and $16.8 million in corporate interests and private assets, like residential real estate properties and the like. They've released all of that in a financial disclosure report. But my big question, it's not that they made money. I congratulate them on that. But how does a governor get that kind of money? 4.4 to 16.8 million just in investments. And we'll go into some detail a little later on there. But it was really eye-opening and head-scratching, quite frankly. We're going to continue on the Frank Beckmann Show here momentarily as we try to fight off just about every kind of interruption you can get this morning. StreamYard is wonderful, but once you tie into all of this, you do not have an opportunity to cut out your telephone, which rings in your headsets. We also have got an issue with the sound, so if it sounds a little different on the air, please forgive us. We'll get to the bottom of that and raise the volume on the microphone. If I sound quieter, we apologize. We realize that, and we're trying to correct it right now. Okay, so last night the governor, as we said, the state address, and she pulled out some interesting Latin terms for us in describing what was going on here in the state of Michigan in the last year. She also apparently, the Free Press said this: Whitmer ignores GOP provocations, stays the course in third state of the state address. What provocations? You have people doing their job in Lansing, the legislature doing its job. They were elected too. And it's not up to, we don't have a supreme ruler here in Michigan where the governor just makes every decision. We have a democratic republic ourselves here, don't we? In which the legislature has equal powers to the governor and is also allowed to make rules and laws and make decisions on spending. That's the way we do things. And so to say that she's ignoring GOP provocations just seems a little odd, that's all. But I'll let you read that in the Free. That's their opinion, and it comes from their editorial board, so we know pretty much what to expect from that. I hope they will also ask the governor, former Governor Granholm, how she and her husband came to own about $16 million in real estate. That's rather phenomenal. That's great success. I congratulate them. Must be some great investments right there. At any rate, 800-859-0957 is our phone number. And when you think about Gretchen Whitmer's address last night, I believe that we're all going to remember one thing, and that is that she adopted President Biden's slogan of "Build Back Better." She's just convinced we can do that. And she also put emphasis once again. I'm going to ask our crack engineering staff, led by Rich Lazinski, to give me cut number 3 coming up right now, because the governor wants still to fix the damn roads, which is what she ran on and what she has not addressed so far policy-wise in her administration. But here's what she said. Cut 3. All right. We'll hear from
Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, from Lake Superior to Lake Michigan to Lake Huron to Lake Erie and everywhere in between.
Ontario.
To focus on what unites us, improve how we talk to each other, and together we'll fix the damn road ahead.
So there you go. We're going to fix the damn road ahead. Sure. So that's the new slogan: "Fix the damn road ahead" by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and we'll see how it all works out. It's getting through the coronavirus though first, isn't it? That'll be the major issue that we still have moving forward until the virus is gone. Now we're also seeing the rollout of more vaccines, and the governor wants to increase the availability of those for everybody, which is a great goal to have, and I hope she is successful in that, because everybody in Michigan deserves a chance to at least have the opportunity to make a decision on whether they want to receive the vaccine, if they believe in it or not. And I think most people will, quite frankly. How about you? 800-859-0957 is the phone number. We'll, as I said, get to your calls in just a little bit. We also heard the governor last night talking about some of the workers here in Michigan. She wants to get Michigan back to work once again, and I hope she is considering the restaurant industry and some of the service industries, which have been hit so hard by her lockdowns here. And even as the COVID numbers continue to fall in our state, I mean, we say we're making progress and in stopping the virus from growing, but we continue all these restrictive lockdowns. So the question comes up: well, what are you going to do? When are you going to lift these sanctions? And we just don't know yet. That wasn't really revealed. But the governor did say, as we check in on cut number 10 right now, what a horrible year 2020 really was. And she's right.
Now, at the risk of losing you in the first minutes of this speech, I'm going to use a Latin phrase: Anis horribilis.
Oh, no.
Horribles. Before I tell you more, take comfort in knowing that tough years like 2020, our Anis horribilis, are usually followed by great years. And yes, there's a Latin phrase for that too, Anis mirabilis.
All right, we're looking forward to Anis mirabilis, Governor. Thank you very much for the lesson in Latin. We appreciate that. I chuckled at that and really appreciated it. Quite frankly, I thought it was clever of her, and I enjoyed it last night. But the rest of the speech, we'll get your thoughts on it at 800-859-0957. Also coming up in just a little bit, Jason Wentworth, the Michigan Speaker of the House, because the governor's upset that the GOP is not helping her out enough, and they're opposing her. Well, it is their job to make decisions in the legislature. They're also elected officials. And if they happen to be of a different party, they may have a different opinion than you, Governor. It's that simple. So nothing to worry about. It's quite normal. And we'll continue to see that, just as we saw it with the Republican governor. He saw some opposition from Democrats that he wasn't real happy with, but that's the way it was. All right, we'll continue. Jason Wentworth, the Speaker of the House, here on the Frank Beckmann Show, is coming up in a moment. We'll get his views on the governor's state of the state address and have a lot more, including your phone calls, coming up right now. Traffic and weather is first with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Michelin Endurance Silicone Wiper Blades. Weather can be unpredictable. Be prepared with windshield wipers that can handle anything. Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance, lasting 2 times longer. Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades, only available at Walmart.
275 northbound at Ford Road. Earlier accident is clear, but still seeing delays reported from Michigan Avenue. Light vest display still being removed. That's along Hines Drive, eastbound and westbound between Outer Drive and Ann Arbor Trail. That will be closed today until 2 p.m. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, pull ahead your lease. Take advantage of 0 interest for up to 84 months or sign and drive lease programs. End of the month deals. Open special hours is Saturday 9 to 3. Gordon Chevrolet, Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high. Down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. Should be dry on Saturday with a chance of some snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
Hey, Ken,
All right, Frankie. Want to get you updated here on some of the things people are saying. Mark Garner says, yes, we have. They've been waiting for you on Facebook, so this is cool. Tracy says, love seeing you on camera, Frank. You're the best. I'll miss you when you retire.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Mark Gardner.
How could you not miss a beautiful face like that?
Mark Gardner says, just curious why the governor kept saying bipartisan when it has appeared she has been going it alone.
That's a great point. We'll ask Jason Wentworth, the speaker, about that coming up in just a few moments.
Brian says, hey there, Frank. Been listening to you since the beginning of the pandemic. You've played a big part in keeping me informed every day as I carry mail on my route. Thanks for all you do.
Wow. And thank you for what you're doing, too. That's not an easy job. I want you to know. You very rarely, as a mail carrier, get thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
You usually get complaints when something's missing from the mail, or you're sure the mail carrier screwed up somehow. Mm-hmm. But that's not the case. These men and women work so hard out there, and I love them all.
Bill Sheridan says, good morning, Frank and all. Mark Gardner, Frank, I just read that one. My bad. Let's go to, no. Mark Gardner, Frank, I've been listening to you forever. You, sir, will be missed when you retire. I am retired and enjoy it, and I know you will as well.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I plan to enjoy every doggone minute of it. I guarantee you that. Chris, no more getting up at 6 a.m.
That's right. Well, I was thinking
7:00 tea time.
Exactly. I was thinking I still may text you at all hours of the night, though. That may be something that I don't stop.
Well, believe me, I'll be up with a rundown every night about 10 o'clock and just going, where is it?
Don, you should broadcast this way until you leave, which we hope you'll reconsider. Bill says, you sound great on Facebook, Frank. Don, it's not roads, it's relationship that needs fixing after 3 years of Whitmer.
That's an interesting point right there. I'll tell you, the relationship does need to be fixed with the legislature. That's for sure. She has alienated a lot of people on the other side in sort of going it alone. That's been, whether she wants to admit that or not. That's how it's been interpreted by people, that she's going it alone. She's not taking the other side into account here, and what she believes is right is what we're going to do. Now, I understand the power of the governor's office and all of that, and that she was elected for that role, but there's still a way that you choose to govern in that position, and she has chosen to do it her way. It's her way or the highway, and it sure hasn't been the highways, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back to the show here in just a second. All right, Frankie?
Alrighty.
With free webinars, classes, and counseling to help them with new career skills, job placements, financial education, and more. Find out what we can do for you at jvshumanservices.org.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
Yeah, getting back to that Free Press piece that backed the governor so much in what she had to say last night. The headline said, Whitmer ignores GOP provocations, stays the course in third State of the State address. And then they had the nerve to bring up that plot by those whack jobs who supposedly wanted to kill her. And, just in any way tying that to a political party just doesn't seem right to me. There was never any evidence that they were related to any political party whatsoever. And certainly the leaders of the Republican Party were not in favor of what these mindless people were doing. So at any rate, the governor's State of the State address last night, a little bit different. Jason Wentworth, the new Speaker of the House, the Republican from Clare, on the other end of our line to talk about it this morning. Mr. Speaker, good morning. Good to have you on the show again. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Doing very, very well. It's nice to have you here. It was a little different last night, wasn't it, with the separation and the governor doing the State of the State virtually, but we made it through.
We did. Yeah, it was a little strange, but we made it through for sure.
What was the reaction, though, among members of the House that you've heard so far?
Yeah, the reaction has been, fairly well. I mean, it's we're at a point right now in Michigan where we need action, not necessarily the politics or the talking points. So I'm looking forward to the governor and making sure that we have action after this.
The people who support her in the media claim that it's the Republicans who have not been cooperating with the governor and have prevented her from carrying out her agenda. I'd like to get your reaction to that, because I don't see that.
Yeah, and I don't think the people of Michigan are buying that either. The fact is, we've sent many bipartisan packages to help support small businesses and families through this pandemic for the last several months, and we can show time after time again the governor continues to veto bipartisan legislation, and citing her orders that she has and the authority that she has. And we're not talking about authority here. We're talking about people's families and livelihoods that are being lost and destroyed, not by the pandemic itself, but by the governor's reaction to the pandemic. These are government-forced shutdowns. These are government-induced situations that we're put in and our families are put in. Our kids are now being a part of, and we need to stand up and make sure that this is about the people we represent. This is not about one branch of government versus the other. And I think the governor needs to recognize that and step beyond the politics and start acting.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also, though, on the other hand, have got 13 people that she put up for appointment to state boards and commissions and the like, and they were blocked in the legislature. And so you Republicans are getting the blame for that, of course.
Yeah, the Senate did block, several of her picks yesterday. And, in the House, we're looking forward to moving our COVID-19 recovery plan through the House and ensuring that, we have bipartisan support, that it's a good package. We can make sure we get that over the Senate so we can work on things that are going to help families and small businesses and employees that are left unemployed, and the kids, making sure that they get the education they deserve.
Speaker Wentworth, are there things that we should be doing differently, that you envision doing differently moving forward in dealing with COVID than what we have done so far?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think not to continue to keep going back to the governor, but the legislature can only do so much without the governor's signature, and so that's what we're up against right now is a governor that has refused to work in partnership and a true sign of cooperation with the legislature. He continues to act unilaterally, making these decisions without input or guidance from us, and we represent the people of this state, and that's important that we are here and we are sharing the concerns of the people that we represent. This is not about power or authority. This is about making sure the voices of the thousands of people that are reaching out to me on a daily basis, the text messages, the calls, the emails of people that are literally on their last leg and they can't take it much longer. And the governor needs to hear that. And we need to be a part of that process. And that's what I will fight for and ensure because the people of this state deserve that.
The change in the Health and Human Services leadership, did the leadership in the legislature, you included, Speaker Wentworth, did you approve of that?
It's not my position to approve of that particular appointment.
I just wonder if you agreed with it. Bad choice of words on my part. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I do. I believe that Director Gordon, I think him stepping out and resigning, I think was an important piece to moving forward. I'm looking forward to Ms. Hertel in that position and working with her to ensure that the voices of our people are listened to. And I'm looking forward to that, to building that relationship. I don't know her that well, but I'm excited because I've heard great things about her.
Well, and she's got a history, and John Hertel, of course, had a great bit of history with our legislature and was very well respected there. And I think there are good times ahead. And what I mean by that is I think that there'll be cooperation ahead between that office and the legislature.
I agree. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, exactly. We all hope. Are you sitting in the library, by the way, in the Speaker's library?
No, this is the Speaker's office.
Oh, that's your office there. Okay. Well, I miss being in your library from where we traditionally broadcast the morning after the State of the State, and I really miss those coloring books that you got in there.
Yeah. Miss having you guys. Hopefully we can get you back soon.
I hope so. What is it like for you in the legislature, though? Is it tough to have these meetings, or how many members have you had come down with coronavirus? Give us a little update on the health of our elected officials.
Yeah, the health of our elected officials is great. I mean, we are taking the precautions necessary to ensure that we're safe here in the Capitol building, and I'm just looking forward to obviously moving past the pandemic and ensuring that we have the vaccine rollout. We continue to fix that process and ensure that people are getting the resources that we need on the ground. But the health of Lansing, the health of the elected officials, we want to be here. We want to do our job. We want to make sure that we're the voice of the people every day, whether we're in a pandemic or not. And we've made some changes to make sure that social distancing and mask wearing and ensuring that we have remote participation in committee hearings. Those kinds of things are encouraged to make sure that people are staying safe and for having the proper protocols.
All right, Speaker Wentworth, just sort of your own vision of this. What would a return to normalcy look like, in your opinion?
I mean, I think a return to normalcy would be allowing people, the state of Michigan, to make the decisions to keep their families safe, to make sure that their employees are safe, that the employees themselves are taking the precautions to stay safe. We understand COVID's not going away, and everybody has a personal responsibility in their own right, in their own life, to ensure that they're protecting others and protecting themselves and their families. And we've been doing that. And so I think when you look at the shutdown, the action unilaterally across the state, regardless of geographical location, regardless of whether in Clare County you have as many cases as you do in Oakland County, or the restaurant spread that didn't exist, but restaurants are still being penalized for it. Right. All of that, it has to go away. We have to take the politics away and understand that people have personal responsibility, and business owners and families and schools have already taken precautions necessary to ensure the safety of the people. And I think that's really important. That's the return to sense of normalcy that I think we need.
Well, and quite frankly, it's in the interests of those business owners to keep their customers safe.
Absolutely.
They're more interested in it. I hate to say this, but they're more interested in keeping their customers safe than the governor is. And I don't think there's any disputing that. Hey, thank you for the hard work up there. And I hope things return to some form of normalcy for you very, very soon. Who knows with this COVID, though, what's going to happen next.
Thanks again for having me, Frank. I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's the Speaker of the House, Jason Wentworth, the Republican from Clare, getting us going here on the Frank Beckmann Show. We've got a lot more to come. The Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey's coming up, and your phone calls too at 800-859-0957. Stay tuned. You've got the Frank Beckmann Show on WJR, where traffic and weather is next with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Roadways are nice and quiet out there, Frank. The Hines Drive is still shut down eastbound and westbound between Outer Drive and Ann Arbor Trail, shut down due to the Light Fest display removal that will be closed until 2 p.m. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 33 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com. It's going to be cold, the coldest day of the week today. Some snow flurries possible, partly cloudy, a high of only 23. Tonight, partly cloudy, your low 13. Lots of sunshine to kick off the weekend, a little bit warmer, up to 27. Currently clouds, 16 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in 2 minutes.
Frank Beckmann here. And
all right, Frankie. Gwen says, Frank, in all caps, listen to you every day. You're a part of my morning routine. We'll miss you. Patrick says, my GOP motto, no money for kids until you make us part of your decisions. That's from Patrick.
I'm wondering what that means exactly. No money for kids.
GOP motto, no money for kids until you make us part of your decisions. Well, that was the plan that some of the House Republicans have at least put on the table, that they're going to withhold money until her administration, cedes some of her executive authorities, at least, from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Service office. So I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Don says the Beatles nailed it. The Whitmer legacy, getting better all the time, can't get much worse. Andy Muma says, hi, Frank. Been listening to you since way back in the JP days and your great banter about golf and boating. Love the updates on your long cruise on the station break and about your boat race with you two and McMurray.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Bill Sheridan says Whitmer needs to work with the legislature. She was not elected to be queen. And then Andy says, we'll miss you a lot, pal. Helen, trying to get through by phone, but it doesn't connect. I want to know why the governor extended the unemployment to 26 weeks permanently when businesses are trying to get people to work. This is not helping.
Interesting.
Yeah. Richard Gonzalez. I just lost him now. Oh, there he is. Good morning, Frank. Congratulations on your pending retirement. Kathy says, hi, Frank. On your last day, are you going to sing the song from The Sound of Music, So Long Farewell? Kathy, I'm gonna, as producer, I'm gonna do my best to make sure Frank doesn't sing.
I got a hunch there will be a song or two in there, though.
I'm sure there will.
Just get
ready. Frank, from Mark, a little side note: you were a judge back in 2006 for the Utica schools in a singing contest, which my daughter landed second place. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome. That's
Frank judging a singing contest. That's frightening.
That? Yeah, it was only 15 years ago, too.
Right. Patrick, personal choice except when an anti-masker threatens to cough on me, I guess. Have you ever had somebody threaten to cough on you during all of this? I haven't experienced that.
No, but I'm 6'4" and 200. So,
you're always above the COVID.
I don't get a lot of physical threats like that, no, because I might answer them.
Right. Bill, I'm sorry I couldn't listen to the governor for an hour. I listened to Mark Levin live on his website instead. D says Whitmer's priorities seem to go with the job. Anthony Morocco in Macomb County makes me wonder if they're buying failed business properties due to her lockdown. Janet says, due to COVID, we'll get to see Frank and not just hear you on the radio. That's right, Janet. So Patrick says, so riding off into the sunset, does that mean on a horse or on a golf cart?
Definitely a golf cart, fella. I'm too old for horses.
That's a good question.
We used to love riding horses, though. We used to go out to all of these different farms in Macomb County, and had a group of people that rode horses all the time. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
I think I've only ridden a horse once, and I couldn't stop laughing the whole time. I was much younger. I don't know why. I couldn't stop laughing the whole time I was on the horse. Couldn't stop laughing.
Well, this is PG rated, so I can't.
Right. Exactly. All right. So, who we got coming up? We got the Senate Majority Leader, I believe, coming up at 10:35.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike Shirkey. You know what I found interesting? One of the things that that stood out to me was it was this weird thing about this bipartisanship that she keeps talking about and working with the legislature. I wonder where that came from, because it seems to me that there hasn't been a lot of collaboration with the legislature.
Exactly right. That was one of the things that just had me shaking my head all night. All this talk about bipartisanship and the like. I'm sorry, but Governor, you've been going it on your own. You've been setting the rules. You've acted like the queen dictator, and that's just how it's been. You've subscribed to that idea that you have that right, because even the state Supreme Court said you don't. You don't have that kind of power.
Yeah. Well, the other thing real quick before we get back, and I'm going to bring the Senate Majority Leader here with you in just a second. But just Frank, I was requested by Rich back at the studio just to bring that microphone up just a tad bit more. Yeah,
right. I'll put it right in my mouth. Is that better right there? Can you hear me now?
Maybe not quite that close, but
all right.
Let me bring in Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey.
No, if I put that microphone closer to my face, I'm blocking this handsome look on the screen.
And we don't want that.
No.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe we should get other people's opinion about that.
Senator Shirkey, good to see you, sir.
You too, buddy. You too.
I don't know why you overdressed for the occasion, though. That's I like.
I got another job to do after this.
I hear you. You sure do. How was last night? A little bit different, obviously, with the separation. The governor doing it from an office instead of in front of the entire legislature. But the message was, I think, pretty much what we expected to hear from her.
All right, hold tight for me. We're going to come. We're going to come back here in just a second. Hold tight for me, okay? Hold on.
And when you leave, you'll have the understanding on how our high-intensity laser therapy can truly change the way you feel physically and mentally.
Don't just sit by dealing with the pain. Get rid of it. Do what I did. Call today. Receive your first treatment absolutely free. Locations are in Bloomfield, Brighton, and Shelby Township. Call 800-935-5959 or visit RestoreWellnessCenter.com. Restore Wellness Center. What do you need restored?
Help solve food insecurity in Michigan. Hear thought leaders from across the state on Food First Michigan with Dr. Phil Knight and Jerry Brisson. Sunday nights at 9 on WJR, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan and the Food Bank Council of Michigan.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
And welcome back into the Frank Beckmann Show for this morning after the State of the State message from Governor Gretchen Whitmer. We traditionally broadcast this show from the state capitol, but obviously with the COVID restrictions, we're not able to do that. So we're doing it via StreamYard. We're happy to have Mike Shirkey, the Senate Majority Leader, with us, sort of in person, via the internet. It's so good to see your face. You're looking good there, Senator. Everything well?
Everything's well, Frank. Thank you very much. And I'm glad to be on with you this morning. This is an important time for us, and it's good to have dialogue and conversation.
Well, exactly. And the governor, let's face it, she engaged in some of that dialogue last night, and she blamed Republicans for standing in the way of allowing her to move forward with COVID policies, and also with some appointments. Just this week, the Senate Republicans blocked 13 people from state boards and commissions that she wanted to appoint. I'm guessing, though, that you looked into these proposed appointments more closely than just saying, oh, they're the governor's appointment, so we say no. That's not the way it works.
Well, forgive me for this, but in this particular, every other advice and consent process that we've gone through was exactly as you just described. But this one, and listen to me carefully, and I hope you listeners do, was a purposeful political gesture. These folks were not vetted through committee. Nobody was all, when we were talking about the individuals, we were actually purposefully sending a political message, not to score political points, but to make a point. And the point is, Governor, you got to treat the legislature as an co-equal branch of government, and people expect and deserve their representatives to be involved in the government process. And that's really what it was about. Now, she's going to paint it differently, and they're going to talk about individuals. The individuals weren't even looked at, and they can be looked at. It's not a permanent thing, but we only have a few tools. Our Constitution and our laws give a governor a lot of power. But the Constitution also provides the legislature with some leverage points, and that happens to be one of them.
Well, exactly, and there's no way that the legislature can overturn the 1945 amendment to the state constitution. But I know that's something that you'd like to see eliminated because you think the governor has too much power right now under that.
Well, not only do we think that, but the Supreme Court thinks it too. They ruled as such. And that's another question about why the Secretary of State is still sitting on a batch of citizen signatures, 200,000 more than was actually required to be submitted. We know that they've already done their analysis because we've got inside information, and there's really nothing there that's going to cause them to be disqualified. But for some reason, they're still being held up. But back to our governor and her statements last night, and statements that she continues to make this morning, inferring that the legislature is involved and we invite them to things. Let me tell you something. We're only invited as viewers, not as participants. And there's precious few opportunities even for that. And every time we're invited, we have somebody on, most of the time, multiple people on, but it's always a one-way communication. It's a presentation, not a conversation. And conversations are not taking place. And if she denies that, she's bold-faced lying about it. And so I'm just, in her actions, quite frankly, she can say all the words she wants, but her actions speak louder than words. We sent her a bill to extend unemployment. She vetoed it. We sent her a bill to provide property tax relief for citizens. She vetoed it. We sent her a bill to help fund autism, more properly fund up. She vetoed it. But now she's restating them and saying that she wants them as she's calling on us. So it's either purposeful miscommunication or hypocrisy or both.
Well, a good point right there. She also got back onto the subject of fixing the damn roads last night, which, that's sort of been forgotten in all of this. That was her mantra when she originally ran for office, of course, as we all remember. Where are we on the road situation, and what kind of conversation has there been about what we need to do next there?
We are spending nearly $2 billion a year more every year for now until the legislature changes it than we have historically. It's because we've taken actions, not raised taxes. We've taken money off the table that would have been used for other purposes, frankly, lower priorities, and we've dedicated them to roads, $2 billion. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's even enough yet, but there's no acknowledgement of the fact that the legislature is the one that actually has done that. I'm not a big fan of the borrowing scheme that they put together. Because all that really does is it'll absorb cash flow in the future, and I caution people to not get too excited about it. Sometimes you should, when you're talking about long-lasting assets, sometimes borrowing works. So I'm not going to diss it completely, but don't present it as solving a problem, because it's not solving a problem. But there'll be, I promise you, our intention is not to do nothing on roads. But even if we did nothing, I promise you that everybody is going to see all kinds of orange barrels and orange cones when the road construction starts this year, because we've got a lot of money to deploy already. Mm-hmm. I've seen the engineering log of all the projects across the state. It's impressive, but I'm not suggesting that it's enough yet, and we still have work to do.
Senator, the other part of that strikes me is a lot of the responsibility for repairing roads falls on local officials, and they're the ones who really need to be funded, need the money to pay for those local roads. Here in Rochester Hills, where I live, the mayor, Brian Barnett, has done a great job working on some of the more needy roads and getting them repaved. And I know out in Macomb County, Mark Hackles had Mound Road that he's had to repair. And
Right.
this is something that we can't lose sight of, that many of these projects are under local control, and we've got to get that money to the local municipalities.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Frank.
Well, I pray that we're able to do that moving on, and I really hope that everybody has a chance to get back to normalcy in Lansing sometime soon, because this virus, we're tired of everything that it's done. It's hurt us immensely. So,
Frank, if we get together, we should be able 90% of the time agree on the definition of the problem or a definition of the opportunity to exploit. We should be able to do that if we're talking, not just presenting. Now, when we get into solutions, we may not agree that higher percentage, but I guarantee you this, the conversation about solutions, even when they're different, makes the final solution better. Guaranteed. Always makes the final solution better. And you can walk away disagreeing on the final solution, but you know that at least it's had its best chance to be the best possible option. So that's what's missing. And don't believe, frankly, her misleading people saying that, they're involved because we invite them to meetings. No, they invite us to presentations. We always attend, but there's no opportunity. As a matter of fact, I put it this way. I can't remember the last time governor or anybody in her staff in one of those exchanges actually asked a question. It's always presenting.
wow. Well, that's fascinating. We'll check again with you as time moves on, because the virus isn't going away anytime soon. We're going to have you in the legislature and the governor's office trying to deal with it, and we appreciate you coming on to talk about it, Senator Shirkey. It's always good to have you on the program.
My pleasure, sir.
And you know what? Down the road, I'm going to ask you in the future. I want you to get ready for this. We just had Jennifer Granholm, who's up for Energy Secretary in Washington, and we learned that she and her husband Dan Mulhern have between $4 and $16 million in investments in housing and the like. I'm just wondering how much money this governor was making in office here. That's all. But we'll cover that another time.
That'd be great. And then another time we'll also talk about energy.
Beautiful.
The topic.
Yeah, exactly. We will. Mike Shirkey, thank you so much. Stay well, sir. We'll talk again soon.
You bet, Frank. Thank you.
Great to see you in person here on StreamYard this morning. We'll continue on the Frank Beckmann Show. Going to your phone calls coming up at 800-859-0957. Right now, traffic and weather is first with Dana Clark.
Nice and quiet out there, Frank. We just are looking at construction really in Royal Oak, 12 Mile westbound at Stevenson Highway. That right lane is closed for construction through February 8th. Also seeing construction along Coolidge, both directions. Northbound and southbound between Square Lake and South Boulevard, that is shut down for the end of the month for sanitary sewer repairs. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 33 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com.
Cold run and a dry run here, maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high, down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. Should be dry on Saturday with a chance of some snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
Hi friends, Bill Gowling here from Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, telling you about some of the great January lease values we have going all month long during our Start Something New sales event. For example, qualified Chrysler employees can lease a 2021 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Bighorn V6 4x4 for just $289 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $1,000 down. We also have more than 3,000 vehicles to choose from, so come see us. That's Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, and online at gowling.com.
Don't miss the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WJR. Learn how you can earn a full-time income working from home as a trader. That's the Trading Group Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m. The question line is 888-646-8787.
I'm Building DC.
Have you been told you need spine surgery or just sick of living in pain? The Disc Institute has a proven, painless alternative. If your neck, back, or sciatic pain is due to a herniated, degenerative, or bulging disc, then you actually have two problems. One, your pain, and two, your bad disc. Drugs, therapies, epidurals, and new pain lasers are designed to only treat your pain, but they're not designed to treat your disc problem. And this is crucial because your bad disc is what's causing your pain in the first place. Without addressing your disc problem will get worse, which can ultimately lead to surgery. At the Disc Institute, we have a proven solution to solve both of your problems, your pain and the bad disc that's causing it, with our high-tech, non-invasive treatments. This is what can stop your pain without surgery. Call me at the Disc Institute at 586-416-DISC. That's 586-416-3472. We'll even review your MRI for no charge. Call 586-416-DISC. Reclaim your life.
With the recent shift in administration in Washington, there are many reports about estate tax laws that are likely to change. When it comes to estate and gift planning, the conceivable changes could be far-reaching. It is critical that high net worth individuals, particularly those with business assets, understand the proposed estate changes in the new administration's tax plan. UHY has created an easy-to-follow likelihood assessment of what could be passed in 2021. Contact any of UHY's Michigan offices to get a copy. There are options you may want to exercise now that could very well be gone soon. Reach out to your trusted UHY advisor to start the process. Their commitment is to minimize taxes and preserve family wealth. To learn more, email greatlakes@uhy-us.com. Again, that's greatlakes@uhy-us.com to protect your estate for the next generation. UHY Certified Public Accountants, the next level of service.
With the new president, so much is happening in Washington. Now, millions are turning to Newsmax TV, your trusted news source. They're going online to Newsmax.com for breaking news and downloading the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get Newsmax, call your cable operator or watch it free on Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Xumo, Pluto, and smart TVs like Samsung and LG. Newsmax is real news for real people. Start watching today.
Heard the good news about COVID-19 vaccines? They're here, but you can do more than wait for your turn. Here's how. Stay at least 6 feet away from folks you don't live with, and it's risky to be indoors with them too. And masks? Well, they protect both the person wearing them and the folks around them. Wear a mask, watch your distance, and make a big difference now.
Learn more about vaccines at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
Coming to you in every way this morning, on the air and via StreamYard. Great to have you with us on the Frank Beckmann Show this morning after the State of the State. We traditionally are in the Speaker's Library for this broadcast, but obviously that's not possible this year with the shutdowns in Lansing and the Capitol basically being out of use for anybody beyond those who gather safely in private offices. At any rate, Governor Granholm, we mentioned earlier, the ex-Governor Granholm, she's up for Energy Secretary, and she has begun to go through the confirmation process in Washington. And I was rather amazed at some of the money that she and her husband, Dan Mulhern, have got in stock options and the like in private companies like Proterra, a company that designs and manufactures zero-emission electric buses and trucks. Boy, no conflict of interest there for an energy secretary, is there? They have $1 to $5 million worth of stock options. But you know what? Their monies almost are dwarfed by that of Treasury Secretary nominee Janet Yellen. She reported making, listen to this now, and now I want you to know going in, I've done a lot of speeches before. And I know some people pay pretty well, but I didn't know they paid this well. I guarantee you I've never made this kind of money in speaking engagements. Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary nominee, reported making more than $7 million in the last 2 years. $7 million in the last 2 years in speaking fees from banks and large companies. Are you kidding me? Can you say payoff? I'm just asking.
Oh, Frank, there's your next there's your next job.
$7 million in 2 years from speaking engagements? You've got to be kidding me. And that's from banks and large companies. The self-serving nature of elected office or appointed office, it never ceases to amaze me, Chris. I'll tell you, it's just startling.
Yeah, no, it's something. I didn't know that speaking engagements brought in that kind of coin.
No, exactly. 7
And
million.
Janet Yellen too. How does Janet Yellen have that kind of pull?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, put me in line to listen to her. You know? Wait, where do I access one of those speeches online? Can I get it on StreamYard? Or...
Right. Yeah.
But at any rate, we'll get some phone calls in here at 800-859-0957. I'll tell you what, let's go to Monroe right now. And Mark, you're on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning. All right. Well, I'm going to blame Steve. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Yeah, what I was thinking, where all that lottery ticket money go to? What's supposed to go on the schools and roads? He ain't here say anything about that.
No, that's true too, isn't it? And she does want to get back to the roads issue, though. Are you surprised by that at all? Because she hasn't touched it so far.
Right. She said that every time she got in office, and she ain't done nothing yet.
No, we still got the same problem with the roads. You're right. All right. What else do you about last night, Mark?
Oh, wait a minute. It ain't nothing but another liar. The president's the same way.
All right, we'll keep holding them to task. I'll tell you that, and I think you will too, Mark. We appreciate it. Thank you for the call this morning to get us kicked off. Okay, appreciate it. Let's go to Rochester and Dick on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Hope you are.
Fine, thank you. I was just listening to the senator, and what came to mind was he didn't say that we have an abundance of money for roads, but he said we have money that we will be looking at a lot of orange barrels, etc., going into the year. And the question I'd have, even if we had more money and we thought we wanted to do more, do we even think contractors could take on more than they're already doing when people can't even get people to work?
Well, you know what? That's a great question, and we're going to talk to somebody a little later on next hour on the show from the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association, and I promise you, I'll ask that question to find out where are we getting the workers to do this road work. It's a good question.
Nobody else can get them right now.
Doesn't seem so.
Workers, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, you too, Dick. Appreciate the call and your participation in the program. Thank you very much. Can we sneak in one more right now? Let's do that before the top of the hour. Ron and Troy on the Frank Beckmann Show. Hi, Ron.
Hey, Frank. Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to bring up something about this new domestic terrorism alert that was issued yesterday regarding ongoing threats to legislators and office, buildings like Capitol buildings nationwide. Mm-hmm. And what I've been a little disappointed in is that, the Republican Party is supposed to be the party of law and order, family values, and patriotism. And I'm shocked that there aren't more U.S. Republican senators that have come out and condemned this in the strongest terms, in terms of the violent right-wing type people out there, the boogaloos and all that. And this one.
By the way, who do you think's worse? Do you think those people are worse, or do you think the BLM and Antifa people are worse?
Well, from the statistics that I've read, there have been several hundred people killed by right-wing extremists and only one by Antifa.
Oh, please. That's not true. Go back and look at the numbers from their uprising last summer. There's more than one person killed. Heck, I know people who were killed in Seattle and Portland, and the former police officer in St. Louis who was gunned down by Antifa rioters, and there are all kinds of people who have been killed on that side as well. Neither side is without blame here, I don't think.
Okay, well let's leave that at that. Now, how about this Congressperson Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's stated that Pelosi should be shot in the head, executed. I mean, what kind of rhetoric is that to be
That's unacceptable.
thrown out by a legislator?
By anyone. And you know what? That is, to me, that's a threat of violence right there, and ought to be prosecutable. Is what I'm saying. That's a direct threat.
Yeah.
So I'm
So,
with you on
so I'm just hopeful that the Republican leadership can more strongly condemn these types of things. But they just put her in a position of chairman or in an education committee, and she's kind of denied the Parkland school massacre.
I don't know that she's denied it. I'd have to look that up because there's no denying it happened. But at any rate, let's keep following that. And I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Well thought out. And thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. 800-859-0957. We've got the news coming up in a moment. First, Dana Clark has WJR's traffic and weather.
Right now, it's still nice and quiet out there. Just looking at construction projects right now popping up in Pontiac, M59 eastbound at Paddock Street.
All right, Frank, you want to get you caught up here on some of these comments from folks.
Hold on. I got to look for my cut sheet here.
Okay. Pat says, nice to see you guys on camera and put faces to the voices. Mark Gardner, I know it will not happen, but it would be nice for the governor to come and talk with Frank to get her perspective as she does on other shows. Isn't that called working together? Sure, I suppose. Bill, I'm tired of her science, and I couldn't agree more that interaction between the branches produces a better result, like Senator Shirkey said. Robert Dunning, how about those gas prices and the stock market working out for all the liberals? I don't believe you've seen anything yet. Hope you get everything you voted for. Patrick says, I will say, despite being politically opposite of you, Frank, I enjoy listening. You drive me nuts with some views, but I'm not listening to an echo chamber like so many people do. I think that's a compliment. Clay says, hey, Chris and Frank, fun listening. Bill, good grief. Let's get the Dems to condemn all the West Coast craziness still going on. And then Don says, where was this caller when there were calls for every Republican POTUS to be assassinated? There was so much touted on how to for George W. Kathy Griffin with Trump's head. These Dems never eat their own words.
Good point right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it too early to hold up Biden's bloody head, by the way?
I would say so. I would say that's never okay.
Well, it was okay for Trump, though.
Right. Mark says gas prices, just fine. Stock market couldn't be better. Did you have a point here? That's going back to Robert's question about gas prices in the stock market and liberals getting everything they voted for.
Yeah, gas prices have been going up.
They have been going up slightly. I mean, we're not going to see much of a change, in his first week.
You will if she gets her tax on the gasoline.
Yeah, true. Hey, pick up that mic, Frank. We can't hear you. There you go.
25 cents a gallon?
I think it was it 25 cents? Yeah, 25 cents a gallon.
Per gallon.
Yeah. Per gallon. Right. Yeah. The news isn't playing in the video feed. Yeah, we can take it out, so I can throw it in here like this.
Fewer than forecast.
And you can hear it, but we want to make sure we get all your points here, Jerry, so appreciate that. Point is stock market going down, gas prices going up, says Clay. Mm-hmm. OPEC cut production January 1st by 50%, Patrick says.
Well, no surprise there, is there?
Right. Now, the other interesting thing that we could you could rap about later on is the interesting thing now with Enbridge dealing with their Line 5 pipeline that they want to put below the straits.
Sure.
How that project could be impacted by this administration, this new Biden administration. Look at what they did to the Keystone XL, right? They're just going to kill it.
Canceled it.
So what does that mean for a project like Line 5? Do the federal government and the Biden administration feel like they can just come in here and blow this thing up too?
Well, and that's why we got this story about Canadian government and business interests are mounting a full court press on Whitmer, hoping to badger the Midwest Democrat into reversing an order that shuts down the Enbridge oil pipeline under Lake Michigan later this year. So it's something for them to address how they plan to do that.
That's an interesting thing though, because that contract was signed, that contract was deemed legal, that everything was done under the Snyder administration.
Right.
And that's a state government project. And I don't know, and maybe it would be a good question for Ryan Duffy later, but I don't know what role the federal government would have in terms of a say in a project like this.
Mm-hmm. I believe they'd have whatever say they want, just as they do with the XL.
I mean, right. That would be my assumption too. But I mean, the state legislature, the governor already said that this was happening. And then this next administration came in and killed it. So I don't know.
Exactly. And the legislature approved it. And then, the excuse was, well, they didn't do it properly. And there was some kind of technical reason why they were going to upend all this. But it's been ideological from the start. This is not legal. This is ideological.
Right.
So at any rate, we'll have to see, though, whether Enbridge wants to talk about that, because I wonder if they're impacted by the XL as well, by the Keystone.
Or at least, obviously that's got to cross their minds, right? Sure. I mean, that certainly has to play a role in what they're thinking going
forward. Right. If we're going to shut that down, how hard is it for the president to step up and say, you know what, we're going to close that line.
Right. We're just going to kill that too.
Yeah. And then he's going to get applauded and patted on the back.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. It's that Enbridge story is crazy, and how that's going to shake out.
Well, it was ideological from the start, like I said.
Yes,
and the reasons they looked for to shut it down, they said that the Senate or the legislature's description of the bill wasn't plain enough, wasn't clear enough. It's like, are you kidding me? We knew exactly what the bill did. Everybody did. But, that was the ruling of the ideological side. And they're gonna tell us that it's unsafe, and whether it is or not doesn't even matter to them.
Clay says climate change. Hey, Dem, stop introducing CO2 in the air with all your hot rhetoric. All right. I'm going to get you ready to go back here, Frank.
Okay, just a note, CO2 does not cause climate change, okay?
Everyone for making us one of the top selling Ford truck dealers in the entire country. With one of the largest inventories in the country, more people trust Bill Brown Ford because we don't just sell F-150s. Most of our team members drive one. Our team has decades of firsthand experience behind the wheel of America's best-selling truck. So let us help you choose and accessorize the right F-150 for you. Bill Brown Ford Livonia, proud to be your F-150 dealer.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, welcome back into the program, everybody. So good to have you with us, whether you're listening online or joining us on StreamYard. We really appreciate it, and hope you're enjoying the interviews as we try to keep you the best informed audience in all of radio on this morning after the State of the State address by our Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And now I'm happy to welcome into the show a Democrat in the legislature. She is the House Minority Leader, Donna Lisinski from Scioto Township, just west of Ann Arbor. And Representative Lisinski, it's really good to have you on the show. Nice to have you here and to see you in person like this. That's great.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be here this morning.
Yeah. So what was it like last night for you? What did you make of the governor's address? What stood out the most to you?
For me, it's what House Democrats have been talking about and working for the last almost a year now that we're moving through this pandemic, and that's speedy vaccine delivery. We know that that is the most important thing to getting kids back to school and educators back safely and getting our economy back on track.
How do we speed that up even more? It seems it's been a pretty good process so far.
It's been a good process. We now have more folks vaccinated than have tested positive, and that train is now moving. It's moving quickly. What we need to do is make sure that as the supply of doses increases, we know that's the main thing that's holding us back in Michigan to getting more people vaccinated is the number of doses that are available to us here in Michigan. But we need to be prepared for that. And we need to take a simple up or down vote to release almost $5 billion of federal funding, Michigan taxpayer dollars that are sitting at the federal government that can come home here to help us speed our work to get through the pandemic.
So how will that $5 billion be spent?
Because it's federal dollars, that's a really good question. Federal dollars often come with many strings attached when they come back to a state. So they'll largely be spent in the ways that the federal government is saying they need to be spent. But quite frankly, those ways are things that we need here in Michigan. It's support for hungry families. It's SNAP benefits so that hungry families can make sure that they're fed, direct relief to families. It's almost $2 billion to help us support our K-12 schools. And what we know is closing the learning gap there. There's dollars there for vaccine distribution, testing, and tracing. That's absolutely critical to get our economy going. We need those dollars back here in Michigan. That shouldn't be a partisan issue. It should be a simple up or down vote, and let's get those dollars here.
No, but Representative Lisinski, you know that it's going to become partisan because the more you spend of taxpayer dollars in these various programs, the more pushback you're going to get from people who are more conservative in spending.
So let's be very clear. These are tax dollars that Michigan taxpayers have already given to the federal government. These already come out of our pocket. There's not a single.
They took it from us. We didn't give it to them.
So we can have that debate, right? What we're looking at here is Michigan taxpayer dollars that are sitting at the federal government that the federal government wants to send back to get to work here in Michigan. And I know as a Michigan taxpayer, that's what I want. I want my dollars working for me in my state. That wasn't a partisan issue last year. We were able to allocate those federal funds. But when we look at the end of the year last year, when the SNAP benefits were available, the dollars to give direct relief to hungry families, and that wasn't allocated, that was excluded from the supplemental bills that were presented to the governor, that's when the partisanship started on federal dollars returning. It's dangerous. It shouldn't even be considered. And scoring partisan points and keeping relief out of the hands of families, small businesses, and schools is not where we should be in this moment.
Mm-hmm. And how is it really being blocked right now, though? Because it seems as if the money is making its way to those people that you just described.
So that was previous federal dollars. There's been new allocations. And so there's $5 billion sitting at the federal government right now, waiting for a procedural vote, an up or down, to get it released and put to work here in Michigan. We can take that vote today. We can take that vote tomorrow. We should get it done.
And that's a vote in the U.S. House?
Nope, that's a vote right here in the state house. We have to vote to accept it. We simply have to vote to accept it to get it sent over to us. That's a vote here in the House and the Senate floor.
Why would we say no to that?
So here's the thing. I have a crystal ball here in my office. You're welcome to talk to it anytime you like.
But I just wonder what you see, what you feel from your position as the leader of the Dems in the House.
We saw some pretty clear statements yesterday, partisan statements around holding up nominations and doing other things. Folks are trying to score partisan points. That's not appropriate right now. That's not what Michiganders need right now. They don't need us to do that. They need us to come here, do our job, vote to get our taxpayer dollars here, vote to give direct relief to families and small businesses, vote to get our kids and educators back to school safely. That's what we need to be doing right now, and it's a simple vote.
Mm-hmm. And when will it be held? Do we know?
It will be held when the leaders of the House and the Senate decide that it will be held.
How much interaction do you have with the new speakers, say, and also with Mike Shirkey over in the Senate? Is there any communication with him as well as Speaker Wentworth?
So I got the keys to my office on January 4th. Speaker Wentworth and I have had several conversations, and that's been encouraging. But what I know right now is that words are words and action is action. And what we need right now is action.
Well, indeed, and we hope that you get more action accomplished there in Lansing, and like you said, this is a nonpartisan issue, this COVID, and we want to see it wiped out. We want to see as much in the way of PPEs and the like that we can get here in Michigan, and of course the vaccines. And right now, is there a feeling in the legislature that we are going to have enough in our state, or is there going to be an effort made to secure more?
In terms of PPE and vaccine, PPE, we're continuing to struggle with that, right? Because we see now that with this stronger variant that we want to have masks with more strength. We want more people wearing masks with more strength. I represent areas of Washtenaw County, and that's where we're seeing the strongest proliferation right now of the new COVID variant. When we're looking at vaccine doses, the governor has been very strong in her advocacy with the previous administration and now with the new federal administration to ensure that Michigan is getting our fair share of vaccine doses. We've got Pfizer right here in our backyard. There's doses sitting there. We have made the appeal to be able to purchase directly so that we can get more doses. The best shot in the arm we can give to the economy is to get more shots in arms. And that has to be our priority. And right now, having access to more doses of vaccine is the single biggest hurdle. And we all need to stay on top of that together.
All right, one other question for you. Earlier this morning when we spoke with both Mike Shirkey and Jason Wentworth, they were not real happy about the lack of partisan cooperation in Lansing. I'd like to get your take from the other side of the aisle now, what you view and how you see it.
So there are areas, quite frankly, where we've been able to do good, strong, bipartisan work. But what we're looking at right now is the desire for people to score partisan points and take credit. That's not important. There's not a single Michigander out there who cares who's taking credit right now. They care about who is getting the work done to get vaccine doses out there. Look, consumers need confidence to return to businesses and stores. We need to be able to get our kids back to school. We need our educators to be safe so they can show up in the classroom every day to do that important in-person instruction. This isn't about scoring political points. This isn't about saying, hey, you weren't nice to me. Hey, you should have talked to me 30 minutes before you did. That's not productive. We don't need that. Let's get to work. Simple up or down vote on $5 billion. And then let's continue to work on those additional dollars that we know we need from our general fund to supplement school aspects that aren't available with all the strings on federal money. Let's look at direct small business support. Let's have those conversations, but let's do the easy stuff first.
All right. Listen, we really appreciate the time. I hope you'll come back and visit with us often. Donald Osinski, the state representative from Scioto Township and the Democrat leader in the Michigan House. Thanks so much for coming on. A pleasure to have you on the show and meet you.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we'll continue the Frank Beckmann Show. Get some of your phone calls coming up next after we check traffic and weather first with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Michelin Endurance Silicone Wiper Blades. Weather can be unpredictable. Be prepared with windshield wipers that can handle anything. Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance, lasting 2 times longer. Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades, only available at Walmart.
Frank, looking at construction in Pontiac, M59 eastbound at Paddock Street. That right lane is closed until 11 a.m. this morning. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving.com has durable storage products for your business, from trusted Metro brand wire and plastic shelving to Unirack pallet racking. They also offer high-density storage and gravity flow racks to help optimize space. Order now at Shelving.com. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high, down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. It'll be dry on Saturday with a chance of snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, I just want to remind you about something, and that is FanDuel. FanDuel is the new sportsbook app that is now live here in Michigan. The sportsbook is up and running, and man, they've got some great deals on there, some great ways to bet on the action if that's what you like to do. I know I've liked to do that for quite some time. I really have enjoyed sports betting, and if as long as you keep it under control and you monitor yourself, you're not going to get hurt by it. Okay, but FanDuel is kicking off, celebrating in a big way this new start in Michigan. They're giving new users their first bet risk-free. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win the first bet. Seriously. So not only can you bet on all your favorite teams, but you're going to get up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. My first bet was that one last weekend, about when I touted Green Bay over Tampa Bay and proved to be a loser. Well, guess what? They gave me my money back. It wasn't a big bet, but you know what? I got it back. That's what's important. They came through with what they promised. Well, here's a new one now. You're going to get an even bigger win when you bet Lakers versus Pistons tonight. For every 313 fans, you get it, 313, the area code for Detroit. For every 313 fans who bet on the Pistons to cover the spread, FanDuel will move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. No limit on how good this line can get. And right now it's like the Lakers minus 9.5 here in Detroit, okay? So we can get that line moving in the Pistons' favor. There's no limit how good it can get, as I said. And you're going to get paid out whatever the line lands on at tip-off. So you don't have to wait to get in on the action. This is how you play it. If you haven't signed up yet for FanDuel Sportsbook in Michigan, don't stay on the sidelines. Deposit. Place your first risk-free bet of up to $1,000. It's risk-free. After you place that risk-free bet, go bet on the spread, the love market. You'll place a bet up to a maximum of $50 on the Pistons and Lakers. I'll be betting on all the sports action at FanDuel, I guarantee you. And I'm thinking about making this game one of my picks to click tonight and going with the Pistons at home, getting 9.5. They got a secure and simple to use app at FanDuel. They offer live betting on every game and exhilarating bet types, same game parlays where you combine multiple bets into one game or into a single parlay. And once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, you get your winnings in as little as 24 hours because it's the right thing to do. So download the FanDuel, FanDuel Sportsbook app. Be sure to sign up with the promo code FRANK so they know that I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code FRANK. See you there.
21 and older and present in Michigan. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Governor Whitmer wants Line 5 shut down, with no plan to replace the essential energy it delivers.
.60 WJR.
All right. I just want to remind FanDuel Sportsbook, right. See you there.
21 and older and confidential help. Confidential help.
All righty. I'm going to assume that we are back on the air here. It's a little different for us doing this broadcast via StreamYard. It's something that we're not accustomed to doing all the time. So you're going to have little quirks pop up from time to time, okay? And I just wanted to make sure that you know that we'll endeavor to keep this as smooth as possible. We've got the best pros in the business working behind the scenes. Rich Lazinski back at our studios, along with Cameron Knox, who's our producer on site. Chris Renwick is our executive producer, sets up all the interviews. And you're the best informed audience in all of radio. And you also get a chance to talk here at 800-859-0957. So let's get into some of your phone calls. What do you say while we got a chance right now? And we'll get you on the air to voice your opinion on the issues of the day, or on the
at
governor.
833-600-GOLD. Now, the Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's so much easier than you think. So call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. The Oxford Gold Group is the only gold and silver company that I trust, and you should too. Get the Oxford Gold Investment Guide today. Learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home, or how to have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
Join Paul W. Smith as he talks to all the movers and shakers making the biggest difference in the D. It's Opportunity Detroit, presented by Rocket Mortgage, every Sunday at 1 p.m. on News Talk 760 WJR.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
And welcome back into the program, everybody. No matter where you're joining us, we're on StreamYard this morning, so you can get on the air right with us and show off your good looks is what you can do. Let's go to the phones right now. 800-859-0957. We're going to go to Detroit to start things off here. Dave, you're on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Frank. It's been quite a few times I've called in and over the years, and I heard you were retiring, so I wish you a happy retirement.
Well, I thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I'm sort of looking forward to it, if you know what I mean. There's some trepidation in there, too, because it's totally different. You're entering a new phase of your life.
Absolutely, but you might find some new challenges for yourself, and you just never know what could be over the horizon for you. It might not just be all golf.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right.
But I was struck by something you had said last year, or maybe 2 weeks into the virus, and see if you remember this. You had read a note that somebody had sent you or something to the effect of all of the things that had happened in just 2 weeks over this virus. And you ended the note by saying, now, wasn't that easy in terms of taking people's liberties away, shutting businesses down, and what have you? Do you remember that?
Only vaguely, and if I don't remember it specifically, but if I made that comment, it was meant facetiously, I guarantee you.
Well, I mean, let's look at it. Here we are a year later, and we're getting bombarded by both sides of the aisle just trying to score political points. You pointed it out. These are people who we elected to represent us, and it seems like, or it feels like, we're really just kind of pawns in this political game. And if we happen to get this thing taken care of, and if we happen to get the vaccine and it happens to all work, fine. But in the meantime, they've spent us into oblivion. They've shut us down. The virus didn't shut us down. They shut us down. And I really think that this highlights the difference between not left versus right, but interventionists versus non-interventionists. And I'm really hoping that at the end of all this, the American people wake up to see that interventionism doesn't work, doesn't matter what side of the aisle that it comes from. And we really need to get back to more of a liberty mindset, to let people make their own decisions. They're adults. They work hard. They save their money. They know better than these people making all this money that you just pointed out between Yellen and Granholm and all the rest of them. And I just really hope that at the end of all this, we don't get to like a bloody revolution, but we actually start electing principled people that will defend liberty strictly. And I really wish that for all of us, because this left-right stuff, this interventionism stuff is an abject failure. And it's been pushed by us, by people, quite frankly, who are really damaged individuals. And I wonder what your thoughts are.
My thoughts are, I'm afraid it's going to continue. I don't see any stop in sight. Once the Biden administration was elected, I think it was clear that America made its choice, that it wanted the government to get more involved, because that's what Joe Biden stands for. That's what the people that he is naming to positions stand for, Jennifer Granholm. It's funny how along the way, though, they are all able to line their own pockets with millions of dollars, isn't it? I'm still trying to figure out how Jennifer Granholm and her husband were able to acquire $4 to $16 million in holdings in real estate based on their salaries. I just don't understand how that happens. And it's the self-dealing in politics that bothers a lot of us and that we stand up against.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But Anyway, Frank, I don't know if I'll talk to you again, but it's been a great run for you, and I don't know who's going to fill your shoes, but they've got some shoes to fill.
No, I really appreciate the kind comments. Thanks so much. Let's continue on the phones now, and we'll go stay in Detroit. Tom, you're next on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning.
Yeah, Frank. Thanks for taking my call. I'm sorry you're leaving, but that lady you had on from Ann Arbor, they're so highly skilled and debaters and BSer, highly skilled BSer. The idea that there's a pot of money that we already sent there and it's just waiting to be sent back to us, it's so far off. As soon as our money goes there, it's gone, and they blow it all out, away, and then they borrow to make up for the spending. There is no pot of money sitting there any more than there's any pot of money sitting in the Social Security Trust Fund.
No, you're right. There is no pile of money there. That money has to come from someplace, and it comes from those of us who are taxpayers, right?
Right, but the people that don't follow things as closely as you or I, they might believe that, you see? And they almost sound convincing to me, but I know a heck of a lot better.
All right, Tom, I appreciate the call. You be well, okay? Stay safe. Let's stay in Detroit right now. Thank you. 800-859-0957, and we'll stay in Detroit. David, you're on the Frank Beckmann Show. Got time for a quick call here.
Frank?
Yes, David.
Hi. Thanks for my call, Frank. I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about the problem with the and actually the last several years, years and years, the ballots are the problem with the voting, and simply. So until we get the problem, meaning the ballots, we're going to continue having the same problems over and over and over and over again.
What do you want to change on the ballots?
The solution has to be that, in fact, when somebody goes to vote, they incorporate the Social Security number along with the name.
There'll be even more work for the county clerks, though, and I think it'll be probably opposed for that reason. And there are those who don't want that much oversight in the system and just think that we should have a free and easy system where we should be able to just walk up to the polls and vote. And they don't worry particularly about the potential, how should we put it, corruption that could go on within the balloting. But on the other hand, there's no proof that there was corruption either. So until you have that, I don't think you're going to see major changes in the way that we count the ballots or distribute them here in Michigan or elsewhere. Anyway, thank you for the call. Really appreciate it. We'll continue on the Frank Beckmann Show coming up after the bottom of the hour break. Right now, traffic and weather is first, and here's
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
Checking on construction today, 8 Mile eastbound between Telegraph and Berg Road. This is in Detroit. The right lane.
All right, Frankie. Let's see. We got a lot of comments to get up here, so let me.
Hold on half a second. I just got to find my copy here from Lance.
I sent you a phonetic spelling of his name. Did you get that?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. I'll.
You got to understand, man.
I hear you. I totally get it.
iPad open. I got my iPhone open.
Do you want me to send it to our group chat? Is that best for you?
I don't know. I don't know what's best.
Well, let me see. I did send it to our group chat. Let me just send it again. I'll send it again.
Love Clay's avatar. I didn't even notice. No station audio. There's my phone again. Doggone it.
All right. So I just sent it to our group. It's just a screenshot of what he sent me.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Patrick Ulysses Gilligan. I do find it interesting that you mentioned the last names of people that commented on today's show except mine. I assure you it was just a small oversight, Patrick. My 1,000 apologies.
I didn't think I mentioned any last names, did I?
No, but if I'm the one reading them, I suppose he's mad at me. And Patrick, Patrick Gilligan, excuse me, I do apologize. Impeach, recall Whitmer movement. It makes no sense. We have $5 million that we could have free of any encumbrances. That's from Bill. Bill says, open the damn restaurants. Here we go. Wear a mask, 3 masks. Thank you, President Trump, for getting these vaccines created. Don says, Patrick Gilligan, hey, little buddy. I'm sure it wasn't a castaway, most likely an oversight. That's true. Thank you for coming to my rescue, Don. That's very nice. Patrick, that piston spread is up to 129.5 on FanDuel. You would have to be a very brave.
9.5.
129. Oh, he says the piston spread is up to 129.5 on FanDuel.
No, that's right. It's 9.5, and it's the money line is 215.
Oh, 215. Okay.
And a half.
Patrick Ulysses Gilligan, Don Kruger, thanks for your attempt at humor. And no offense. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's very true. No offense. FYI, I need to know the next Frank pickup on FanDuel so I can pick the opposite and win again like last week.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny. What do you call it? The
pick to click.
The pick to click. The opposite. The opposite of Frank's pick to click.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide which way I should go on the Pistons game here.
You got to be a brave soul to bet the Pistons.
The Lakers are 9.5 though at Detroit. So
take the Lakers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Whatever it is, take the Lakers.
Don't worry about it.
I was watching a little bit of that Pistons game last night, and I was watching Sekou and Sekou Doumbouya. He's one of their newer players, and my goodness, I'd love to know if he or any of the coaches, anybody, do they focus on defense at all? Anybody? I saw a couple times they were coming down the lane, and he just like moved. It was unbelievable. Never saw anything like it. Bill says, open the damn restaurants. These people have been crushed. Fauci's not credible to me, and he's a real political guy. First it was no mask, then it was 1 mask. Now you have to wear 2 masks. It's pretty crazy. You would think after 40 years he would have been more on top of this, but now blames Trump.
Of course.
The mask thing is crazy because early on they were like, hey, you don't need to wear a mask. And I get it. Nobody knew anything about the virus, but if this was this virus going around, why wouldn't you just say people should wear a mask? Like very early on, but they told people not to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fauci himself said the mask isn't going to do anything to stop it. So
says even braver for the Red Wings. Yeah, that could be true too. I do have, for whatever reason, I feel a little bit better about the Red Wings. I have a lot of faith in Stevie. So.
Well, I do too, but he's not skating. I'd feel better if he was on the ice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh man! So tonight, Dallas is minus 200 at home against the Red Wings.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to lay 200 to win 100.
Yeah, that's
on Dallas.
Not a bet I'd like.
That's 2-1 odds.
I don't like that.
No. Hold on. The Pistons, though, 9.5. I'm going to go with the Lakers.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet if you're going to play the Laker Piston game.
Yep, or go over 215.5.
Oof.
I don't know
either.
Totals in basketball are always tough.
They really are tough. And college basketball is really tough too.
Yeah. Where did we get this Jeremy Grant from?
We picked him up. Oh, geez. Where did we get him from?
Info, second round draft pick by the 76ers in 2014. So we got him
from the 76ers. Really?
That's who drafted him anyways.
Okay.
He was the 39th pick in 2014.
Let me say, I'm going to bring Lance in here real quick. Hey, Lance, good morning.
Morning, guys.
Hey, I'm going to bring you in here. I'm going to take you off, and then I'm going to bring you in here in just a second when we kick off the show again, all right?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. Hold tight for me.
Hey, Lance, let me hear you say your last name. Is it Benonimi?
It's Benonimi.
Benonimi. Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Benonimi. That's a lot easier.
All right, we're right back with you, Lance. Hold tight for me.
Great.
How can we get our loved one home safely? Can we get the support we need to care for them with confidence? Can we get that help now? Hospice can help you and your family navigate this journey. Let Hospice of Michigan be the bridge you need to care for your loved one. Call 888-247-5701 or visit HOM.org.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, I'll tell you what, when you think back to what the governor had to say tonight, last night in her State of the State address, you would think that everybody associated with the roads and the construction industry would be happy with her comments that we may finally be moving forward on the infrastructure plans that she announced back when she was running for office originally. And among those who are looking forward to this and maybe some real action on fixing the damn roads finally is the man on the other end of our line and whom you see on our screen. Lance, watch me screw this up. Benonimi.
Benonimi, yep, that's pretty close.
Benonimi, that's very close. Doggone it, I put an underline on the wrong syllable, so I'm sorry.
many different ways throughout my life, so
I'm sure. Lance, you're the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. I'm wondering, when you heard the governor last night, what was your immediate reaction as you were listening to her about the roads?
Yeah, well, very similar to years past. I think, I've been with MITA for 10 years, and in every State of the State speech, whether it was Governor Snyder or Governor Whitmer, I think roads has been one of the focal points. And, this year was obviously a little different with the pandemic. And the ceremony was obviously different, but that theme still rang true. And, just because we were in a global pandemic, our infrastructure continued to get worse. It didn't get as much pounding because we didn't have as much traffic, but the roads didn't get better on their own.
Mm-hmm. As you look at the roads through MITA's eyes, are you looking
to hear
at
what the governor had to say? We think not just the road solution, but also the underground investments that she mentioned as well.
Well, sure, the water pipes and the like. Those are sometimes forgotten about, aren't they? Until you have a flood.
Yeah, no question. I think, as long as your toilet is flushing and, you have relatively clear water coming out of your tap, you think everything's fine. But, the majority of our infrastructure underground is past its life expectancy. And, you see things like you said, Flint, or, in Fraser, when we had the sinkhole, those are very expensive, costly repairs that could be avoided if we continue to maintain and invest them during their life.
How do we maintain them, though? Is maintaining replacing them, or is there some action that we can take in the interim that will make those pipes last longer?
Just like roads, there are preventative maintenance that you can do on underground infrastructure that will prolong the life and will cost less. One of the keys is many communities aren't as sophisticated enough to understand what they have underground. I've been in communities where, the John who knew everything just recently passed away, and they don't know where all the pipes actually are. That was one of the things during the Flint water crisis that was a real problem. Finding those lead pipelines was very difficult for those regulators and those individuals who are in control of those.
Sure, and then suddenly we hear that there are problems with Detroit school water, and there are problems probably across the state, aren't there, Lance?
There's certainly issues with drinking water, storm water. I mean, you always hear about saving Lake St. Clair. There's many issues that go on with their underground water systems that need to be addressed. And so, $500 million. The governor was correct. That is a very large number of investment into our underground systems that really hasn't been invested in decades. And so finding that money, especially without raising taxes, is, I think, a very good plan.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is it like right now for those who work on these various projects through MITA? Can you give us an example of sort of what these workers are facing as they look at COVID and all the problems that we have these days?
Yeah, fortunately, because it's outdoor work, road construction has been relatively safe. We were designated as essential critical infrastructure, and so our members really continued to work throughout the year. And because of less traffic on the roads, we're able to accomplish a lot of things. And what we may not remember over the last year was we virtually had no rain days. So construction was virtually done on time, efficiently, ahead of schedule. The road building community did okay in 2020. The employees, we didn't have a lot of outbreaks, which was nice. And again, I think the outdoorness and the safety measures that our members have taken to prevent the disease spread were vital to that success.
Yeah, because when I drive by these road workers, they're all wearing masks, even outdoors, and they're being very, very careful. In fact, I'm ashamed of some of the drivers that are going down the freeway at 80 miles an hour, and you can see there's road work up ahead on the shoulder, and workers standing there, and still people just speed as if there's no problem, no potential problem there. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, we've unfortunately over the last couple of years have seen more fatalities on our roads than we have in previous years, and one of MITA's main goals in the next couple of years is to improve our safety on our work zones. We have a lot of members that care very much for their employees, and to see them lose their life because whatever, a distracted driver or what have you, we all could take a little more time in construction zones. I appreciate you saying that, Frank.
Well, yeah, because I put myself in those workers' shoes, and all I can think is if that was me standing there doing some road work and somebody's driving by 80, I'm thinking about grabbing a brick or a rock and hauling off and throwing it at that car, because there's no excuse for that, and it's dangerous.
Agree. We have to change the driver's behavior somehow.
Absolutely. And it's just a matter of caring about those people. That's all. So it's got to be good news, though, when you hear the governor talk about finally moving ahead with fixing the damn roads for all of the people who work on those projects in the state, because it's something you've been waiting for ever since she was elected.
Yeah, and her bonding proposal that she mentioned last night will insurrect some money into our state roads, and I think a call in the legislature to work on how we can get revenues into the local communities is very important as well. And so I hope that there's work between the governor and the legislature. I listened to both the speaker and the majority leader, and I hope that some of those relationships mend over the coming year as we move forward in this virus.
Yeah. How exactly does the whole process work about which roads are selected for repairs? And is the decision left up to local officials, or is it being done from Lansing, Lance?
Each owner agency, it's a variety. So you have local roads, you have county roads, and you have state roads. And so the state roads are all, planned and designed by their agency, which is MDOT. And then county roads, each county has a county road association or county road commission, or their commission is under the county government. And so they all pick which roads, and it's usually based on asset management, understanding the life expectancy of a road, understanding what preventative maintenance can be done to prolong that life. And so, but sometimes you got to, grab the bull by the horns. As you mentioned earlier in the show, Mark Hackle and Macomb taking care of that on Mountain Road, getting some federal dollars for that. So, I think every community for themselves in some situations.
Well, exactly. And every level of government has got to pitch in for this too. And, it's the local, the state, as we heard last night from the governor, and nationally too.
No question. This will not be solved by one entity. It needs to be federal, local, and state. You're absolutely correct.
You bet you. Well, I just hope all the workers out there continue to stay safe, not only from those erratic drivers, but also from the virus, which has got to scare everybody. I don't know whether you've seen an impact on the workers themselves. Are they fearful of the virus? What are you noticing out there?
My contractors and the employees that work for them are pretty tough, and they want to work. They're the type of individuals that want that extra time and want those extended hours that they can get the overtime pay. And so we've been very, as an association, we've been very forward about giving our advice to our members on how they can host a safe work environment. And, I think they're taking those precautions. But again, I think you feel a sense of security when you're outside. So we haven't seen a lot of outbreaks. And I think, obviously there's so much information about, the virus and the different steps that you can take. So, I think everyone's doing their best to make sure that they're following those guidelines. We're excited that we seem to be a part of the next movement of the vaccine distribution, the 1C. So we're excited to get our employees vaccinated as well, for those who want to.
Well, exactly. And do you get a sense that most of them want to be vaccinated?
It's a mix, I think as they're, as I mentioned, my contractors are pretty tough individuals. Some of them aren't willing to take that chance. And so, yeah, it's a mixed bag between the members and the employees.
All right. Well, best of luck. We look forward to chatting again sometime soon. Lance, thanks for coming on this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Frank. Yep. Take care.
Lance Bonomi, the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association, here on the Frank Beckmann Show. We're back with more of your calls at 800-859-0957 after we pause to check traffic and weather first with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed delivers quality candidates so you can focus on interviewing people with the right skills. Receive a $75 sponsored job credit when you upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Construction today along Telegraph southbound between 13 and 12 Mile. The left lane is closed. That's a daily work scheduled 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. through February 10th. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 33 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high. Down.
All right, Frankie. Clay says it would be fun to see Stevie back as the Big C. What do you think of that? That would be weird.
How old is he?
Yeah. Is he older now than when Gordy finished?
I don't know how old he is. I'd have to look. But wouldn't that be something?
Clay also says, don't bet on U of M. They're all COVID right now. MSU is coming off an outbreak.
Well, U of M's not playing.
No, they're on a 2-week pause.
Right.
Because that's where a lot of the variant is. That's where it kind of broke out in Washtenaw County and on campus, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, my name is Patrick Gilligan. Thanks for putting me on par with the great U.S. president, but Ulysses is not part of my name. My name has been mentioned on shows all over the country. You are the first to get it wrong, but I guess we all make mistakes. Frank, what do you say? Only a mediocre man is at his best?
Always at his best. Yes, only a man is always at his best.
There you go. Martin, so glad I did not watch Governor Gretchen Whitmer last night. She needs to be recalled. Great watching you, Frank, on Facebook Live.
You know, we hear a lot of talk about recalling the governor, but we never ever. Do you notice we never see any action on that?
Yeah. Well, I think there was has been they've tried to utilize petition gathering, yeah.
And then they can't get the petitions approved by the Secretary of State.
Well, yeah, certainly with Unlocked Michigan, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see here. Put the studio back in. We'll get you rolling here, Frank.
Dealer for the same price. So it's our job to make sure you feel special the moment you walk through our door. At Tom Holzer Ford, our team is dedicated to making sure you have a great experience. Sales, service, parts, body shop, whatever the reason, we're here to take great care of you. At Tom Holzer Ford, we promise to take care of you before and after the sale. So buy American, buy Ford, and buy from Tom Holzer Ford, 10 Mile and Haggerty in Farmington Hills. Thank you.
Attention, fellow baby boomers. Guy Gordon here, speaking to you today on behalf of my longtime friends at Senior Health Medicare. I trust my expert friends so much, they recently assisted my parents. WJR will continue to inform our listeners 65 and up on the continual adjustments to Medicare, and we will drill down on all aspects of Medicare and how it affects such things as post-hospital care, along with your drug prescription plans. Final expense policies are being considered, so let them walk you through what type of policy may help you and your family in 2021 and beyond. Call today for a free plan comparison and to learn more about final expense policies. Thousands of WJR listeners have already received savings by just taking the time to speak with Senior Health Medicare. Your review only takes minutes for them to assist you like they assisted my family. Let Senior Health Medicare become your local experts. Visit seniorhealthmedicare.com today for your no-obligation review. Call 248-230-8595. That's 248-230-8595.
Have you seen what's happening with the stock market? Record highs every day. How long can this possibly go on for? By the way, this is exactly what happened right before the 2000 dot-com bubbles burst. Remember that? Protect your savings in retirement by putting them into something safe like real gold and silver. I'm not talking about gold or silver stocks, but into real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. Now, the Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's so much easier than you think. So call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. The Oxford Gold Group is the only gold and silver company that I trust, and you should too. Get the Oxford Gold Investment Guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home, or how to have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
It's the Start Something New sales event, but it all ends Monday, February 1st at 9 p.m. at Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hi, friends. Bill Gowling here, and I'm excited about the new year and this month's lease special programs. For example, qualified Chrysler employees can lease a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for just $249 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $1,000 down. For the finest in sales, service, and selection, come see us. You'll be glad you did. That's Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, and online at Gowling.com.
Rush Limbaugh, weekdays at noon on News Talk 760 WJR. The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, welcome back into the program, everybody. And whether you're listening on the radio or watching us on StreamYard, we really appreciate your involvement in the show. We're going to open up the phone lines now at 800-859-0957. Our crew is busily at work at the station, including our engineer, Rich Lazinski. Cameron Knox is our producer, taking your calls back there. Chris Renwick, you've seen here on the stream. Whether you're listening or watching us via StreamYard, and on WJR's app, you can find a variety of different ways to be involved in the show. But we're going to take your phone calls coming up. I know everybody's waiting for me to make this pick, Chris, for the pick to click this week on FanDuel.
Yeah,
and I might look for an individual bet on Jeremy Grant. The Pistons.
Oh, can you do that?
Wise superstar. Oh yeah, there are individual bets where you can bet on points scored by a player.
No kidding.
Under that, yeah, all sorts of options there.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Grant, what a surprise this young man has been.
Yeah.
He's the son of Horace Grant, who was of course a big star with the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his son.
I believe so. Yeah, and he's averaging for the Pistons. He's averaging over 24 points per game.
Yeah.
And his career average is like 13. So
wow.
It's been a phenomenal find for the Pistons to come up with Jeremy Grant. And so I'll tell you what, Pistons getting all those points at home. I'm going to go with the Pistons tonight.
You are?
I am.
Wow.
The Lakers. Yep.
You are a brave soul, Frank Beckmann.
Well, I got to keep this pick to click going. We're all for one so far. So I figure they'll do like one or two every week, and we'll eventually make some points.
All right, fair enough.
I hope. But yeah, I'm going to take the Pistons plus the 9.5, even though the Lakers are 14-5 and the Pistons are 4-14.
Yeah.
Lakers are second in the West, and in the East, the Pistons are 14th.
All right. All right, Frankie. That's a bold pick.
You think I should go with the Lakers, don't you?
No. I want you to go with your gut.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go with the Pistons.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep. And I hope Jeremy Grant lights them up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some phone calls here. What do you say? 800-859-0957. We're headed toward the top of the hour. And then after 11 o'clock, we'll have phone calls all through the final hour of the show. It's a show that we're doing virtually today, and we're using the StreamYard app to make sure that we get all of your calls in. We'll do this from time to time on the show, and we love doing it. It's our way of tapping into the modern day advancements of the technical world, and we love keeping up with that as best we can. it's a little bit different. It's a big challenge, especially for our engineer Rich Lazinski back at the station and for Cameron Knox back there. But we nevertheless drive forward. All right, let's go to the phones right now, and I think we're going to go to Lenawee County. And Dennis, you're up first this time around. Hello, Dennis.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Nice to hear you. I've listened to you since day one. I hate to see you leave, but I'm glad you're going to enjoy your retirement.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And I sure have enjoyed being with you, and I thank you for your dedication to the show, too.
Well, I'd like to just talk a minute about our governor's incompetence when it comes to distributing the vaccine. You know, the CDC said originally frontline workers and the most vulnerable, age 75 and over. And then all of a sudden, in her infinite wisdom, she decides to make it for everybody over 65. In Lenawee County, she turned it into a lottery. You can't
Tell me more.
your life. What's that?
Tell me more. How did she do that?
Well, the only way you can get an appointment, of course, is to contact the local health department, the county health department. And you can sit there and hit redial 50 times a day, which I've done. You'll never get through. Finally, I got an invitation. You have to have an invitation to schedule an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one, and in less than 60 seconds, I tried to, you have to register online for the appointment. They're all gone. So I called the health department. They have 30,000 people registered for vaccines, and they have 500 doses per week. Now, I'm 77. My brother-in-law is 10 years younger. He has no health problems. And they just happen to luck in to get their appointment. You know, they want to hold Snyder responsible for the problems in Flint. I hope when people my age die because of her incompetence, they hold her responsible.
Well, yeah, that's been raised. I think that's very realistic to look ahead and say, if we've got somebody in another political vein on the Republican side in charge of the Attorney General's office, are they going to take action against the former Democratic governor the way the current Democrat Attorney General has targeted Republicans?
Yeah, it's only fair, but it's ridiculous. I mean, so now it's a lottery. If you get vaccinated, it's pure luck. It's not the people that are most vulnerable that are going to get it. You know, if you're 65, that's all they care about. You could have no health problems whatsoever. Now, I'm scheduled for surgery over in Ann Arbor, and who knows if I'll come out of there alive or not.
Well, I hope you do. I pray for a successful outcome for you, and we thank you so very much for bringing up very good points here this morning, Dennis. Thank you very, very much. We'll continue on the Frank Beckmann Show after the news at the top of the hour. We'll get more of your phone calls, but right now, traffic and weather is first, and here's Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Don't take chances with COVID-19 and your family's health. Use the Exergen Temporal Scanner to check temperatures before dinner and before you leave home. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the #1 thermometer recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Stay safe with Exergen.
75 southbound at Big Beaver, new accident reported. It is blocking the right side. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Expecting it to be a cold one today. All day could see some snow flurries here and there. Partly cloudy. A high of 23 tonight in the teens. Partly cloudy skies down to 13. Lots of sunshine to kick off the weekend for Friday. Hitting a high of 27. Sun all day. Clear skies. Friday night, your low back to the teens, 14. Clouds. 19 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in about 3 minutes.
This is your time for a good time. Now go live your life to the funnest. Leave boring behind and come to the place made for nonstop action and excitement. Saguenay Eagles Landing.
All right. Frank, you going to step away?
Say what?
Are you stepping away for a second?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. That's good. Then I'll take you out and take
Says the move by the legislature was just dangerous.
Turning down all those appointees without having a single hearing. We're talking about the children's ombudsman, the person that investigates when there's a death of a child in Michigan. We need to get these things done. We need to get the supplemental done. Congress has given us billions of dollars to help struggling businesses, unemployed people, get our kids back in school, and fund our vaccine administration. We need the legislature to take action on that. They can't just dig in and not do it.
The governor says she's invited GOP leadership to participate in pandemic planning. The governor and Senator Shirkey speaking to Paul W. Smith, and Shirkey also speaking to Frank Beckmann today. The Capitol Police Labor Committee is detailing the extent of injuries sustained by officers who responded to the riot on January 6th. Rachel Sutherland reports.
Scores of officers were hurt in the riot, and some of the wounds are serious, including brain injuries. 2 officers are recovering from cracked ribs, and another 2 suffered smashed spinal discs. Another one is expected to lose an eye. This is the second Capitol Police officer has died of suicide. Metropolitan Police Department Acting Chief Robert Conti told lawmakers there was a tepid response from the U.S. Army, which he says was reluctant to send in the National Guard, claiming officials were concerned about the optics of boots on the ground. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne. We'll have more with Frank Beckmann in a moment.
Governor Whitmer wants Line 5 shut down, with no plan to replace the essential energy it delivers. That means a shortage of millions of gallons of fuel every day. It's vital energy that heats homes, fuels transportation, and drives our industries. If Line 5 shuts down, struggling Michigan families and small businesses will face higher energy costs. If Line 5 shuts down, then what? Take action at enbridge.com/supportline5.
Hi, friends. Bill Golling here, letting you know that we have more than 3,000 vehicles available during our Start Something New sales event at Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. For example, qualified Chrysler employees can now lease a 2021 Jeep Compass 4x4 80th Anniversary Limited Edition for just $189 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $1,000 down. Since 1966, we've been giving you a great deal and a great deal more only at Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, and online at Golling.com.
The market is constantly changing. The Marketplace Minute keeps you up to date 1 minute at a time before your morning exercise.
Alexa, play Marketplace Minute. All operators file for bankruptcy.
While organizing your receipts.
Hey Siri, play Marketplace Minute.
Says it's been spending more on hiring.
During your afternoon snack.
Hey Google, play the Marketplace Minute. Upward swings and indices in Europe and Asia.
The Marketplace Minute, a podcast and smart speaker briefing updated 3 times daily. Ask your smart speaker to play the Marketplace Minute. Listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your shows.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
All ready to follow the show at 800-859-0957. We'll be taking your phone calls now the rest of the way, and we look forward to that always here on the program. It's our favorite part. We love talking to the newsmakers and getting you all the information, keeping you informed, but we also love hearing your views on what's going on in our world, and so much going on right now to talk about, obviously. There is growing pressure now being mounted by the Enbridge company. That's the Canadian oil company. The Canadian government and business interests are starting to pressure Governor Gretchen Whitmer and hoping that she and those who work alongside her, like, can you say Attorney General Dana Nessel? They're hoping to badger them into reversing the order that shuts down the Enbridge oil pipeline under Lake Michigan later this year. Whitmer's officials say that they're getting calls from nearly all corners of Canada to allow that Line 5 oil line crossing onto the Straits of Mackinac to continue operating. There's a May deadline in place right now that the governor put in place several months ago when she said she was revoking the easement over past violations. And those violations that we're talking about are really, really minor violations. There's never been a major problem with the Enbridge pipeline whatsoever underneath the Straits of Mackinac. You had an anchor drop by some knucklehead, that's what I'll call him, a captain of a boat who dropped his anchor while going in 300 feet of water and traveling at full speed, and it happened to hit the pipeline. All it did was put a little dent in a sort of a I don't know what you'd call it, something that holds the pipeline down. It was almost like a support. It wasn't even the pipeline itself. So there's never been a problem with the pipeline. And yet, because of this opposition to fossil fuels that has been driven by people on the left, like Governor Whitmer and Attorney General Nessel, they're putting on a full court press to try to stop the pipeline from happening. Well, President Joe Biden has shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. That's going to cost thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs. The Canadian government has mounted pressure on our government to change that, but I don't know if they're going to change that or not. So let's talk about that a little bit here at the Frank Beckmann Show. Ryan Duffy's joining us, the Enbridge spokesman. And Ryan, it's great to have you back on the show once again. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, Frank. Good morning. It's good to talk to you, and it's good to see you here today, too.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than our usual meetings over the telephone, but I prefer it this way. It's good to have you back on. The governor's comments last night. What did you take from that? As she referred to Line 5 only briefly, and you see what's going on with the Keystone XL pipeline. Is Enbridge expecting a full court press now to stop the pipeline from happening?
Well, I don't think so, Frank. We do have a lot of support, as you mentioned. We're seeing a ton of support from the region, in particular from Canada. I think more and more people are starting to see now, and people on the Canadian side and throughout the region are seeing that this is a regional system that provides us this energy we use every day. And Line 5 really is just a key, critical piece of that regional system. And so, if anything were to happen to Line 5, it wouldn't just affect Michigan, although there would be serious consequences in Michigan. You'd have Ohio affected, you'd have Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then over into Sarnia and beyond. So we've had around 40 business groups and different organizations really come forward on the Canadian side to express their opinions, and they really are concerned about this, I would say, and it's a wide ranging group of different organizations, chambers of commerce, industry groups, local governments, and they're concerned about what's happening here in Michigan right now. I think there's a lot of surprise that we're seeing from people in Canada that officials here in Michigan would take this step to shut down a pipeline that's safe and it's working, and they're surprised, we would be in Michigan taking these steps to cut off other states and another country.
Well, and here's the other part is I believe Prime Minister Trudeau has spoken out in favor of both the Keystone and the Line 5 pipelines as very necessary for Canadian jobs, too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, there's a lot of support, and a lot of jobs really depend on Line 5 across the border. And so, again, just regionally, it's extremely important. So we've made sure to let the governor know that we have full confidence Line 5 continues to be safe. There's really no factual, science-based reason at all to make these moves against our easement in the straits that we've had since 1953. There's no reason to be trying to shut down Line 5 whatsoever. PHMSA is our federal pipeline regulator. They've looked at the line time and time again. They looked at it in June. They looked at it in September. They said it is fit for service. So we very much remain committed to operating our line safely. We remain committed now to the Great Lakes Tunnel Project. That really is the solution going forward. It really solves all of these issues that the administration says they're worried about, and it would completely resolve all of those. So it is the long-term solution. It makes a pipeline that has been operating safely now for more than 65 years that much safer, whereas, as we talked about, shutting down the line just has all of these severe consequences that I don't think anybody wants to see. And then to make matters worse, the administration hasn't offered any long-term or short-term alternative way to get all this energy to people who really need it right now.
Sure. And then from what I understand, the Prime Minister over there, Justin Trudeau in Ontario, has also stood up and he backs these pipelines and has complained to the U.S. government about shutting down the Keystone, and has also issued warnings about the possibility that Line 5 won't be built too. And I think when you've got somebody in that position, who's known as being a little bit to the left, like Prime Minister Trudeau is, maybe we ought to listen to him and say, if it's okay with him, maybe it's not dangerous at all. The way Enbridge has assured us all along it's not, and the way scientists who have studied it have said it's not.
Well, sure. That's why it really is a federal issue, and that's why we're now challenging what the administration is doing here. And we're challenging that in federal court because there are laws in place that you can't have a state on its own cutting off other states and other countries, and you can't have a state taking on the role of pipeline safety because that is PHMSA's role. So we really believe the administration is defying the law in all this. It's not following the science. It's not looking at the facts. And just with everything at stake here, that's why we felt it is important to go to federal court, and that's the right place to decide on this.
Well, indeed. And I just want to emphasize once again, but before the legislature approved this pipeline here in Michigan, they took all of these things into account. They looked at the safety measures. They looked at the potential for danger or accidents, and they moved ahead and said, you know what? It's okay, and it's very important, and we approve of it. And that's the bottom line.
Right, that's right. The legislature, in a bipartisan way, decided on this and moved forward with the tunnel agreement. That's right.
All right, Ryan. What's the next step, by the way?
Well, it is in federal court, but I'll tell you, the Great Lakes Tunnel project is moving forward. It's on track. We're getting permits, and we're moving that along.
Glad to hear it. Keep us up to date, okay, my friend?
All right, will do. Thank you.
Talk again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. Ryan Duffy from Enbridge, and we'll continue on the Frank Beckmann Show momentarily with your phone calls at 800-859-0957. Right now, traffic and weather is first, and here's Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
75 southbound at Big Beaver accident there is blocking the right shoulder. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high. Down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. Should be dry on Saturday with a chance of some snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
Have you been told you need spine surgery or just sick of living in pain? The Disc Institute has a proven, painless alternative. If your neck, back, or sciatic pain is due to a herniated, degenerative, or bulging disc, then you actually have two problems. One, your pain, and two, your bad disc. Drugs, therapies, epidurals, and new pain lasers are designed to only treat your pain, but they're not designed to treat your disc problem. And this is crucial because your bad disc is what's causing your pain in the first place. Without addressing your disc problem, your problem will get worse, which can ultimately lead to surgery. At the Disc Institute, we have a proven solution to solve both of your problems, your pain and the bad disc that's causing it, with our high-tech, non-invasive treatments. This is what can stop your pain without surgery. Call me at the Disc Institute at 586-416-DISC. That's 586-416-3472. We'll even review your MRI for no charge. Call 586-416-DISC. Reclaim your life.
With the new president, so much is happening in Washington. Now, millions are turning to Newsmax TV, your trusted news source. They're going online to Newsmax.com for breaking news and downloading the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get Newsmax, call your cable operator or watch it free on Roku, YouTube, Apple TV, Xumo, Pluto, and smart TVs like Samsung and LG. Newsmax is real news for real people. Start watching today.
Heard the good news about COVID-19 vaccines? They're here, but you can do more than wait for your turn. Here's how. Stay at least 6 feet away from folks you don't live with. And it's risky to be indoors with them too. And masks? Well, they protect both the person wearing them and the folks around them. Wear a mask, watch your distance, and make a big difference now.
Learn more about vaccines at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Bill Brown for Livonia. We're experts at helping you choose and accessorize the right F-150 for you.
Employment creates equity. That's the belief that drives all of us at JVS Human Services. I'm Paul Blatt, President and CEO of JVS Human Services, where for almost 80 years we've been changing the lives of marginalized job seekers throughout Metro Detroit, with free webinars, classes, and counseling to help them with new career skills, job placements, financial education, and more. Find out what we can do for you at jvshumanservices.org.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Maxwell, he was a runaway into rescue, great disposition. About 9 years ago, he was scratching a lot, and he started losing some hair. My vet, she said, oh, he must be allergic to the chicken. Another vet said, it's the grain. Third vet, she said it's the weather, something in the air. And then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. I had been listening to these Dynavite ads, hearing different stories of different people, and it just clicked. I got my first 90-day supply, and it took a grand total of 2 weeks. And the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Dynavite is nutrition.
And Maxwell loved it. Now he's close to 10, and the Dynavite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
Dynavite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
And he's a spectacular dog.
DINOVITE.com.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, welcome back into the program, everybody. Nice to have you with us. We're coming to you from our home quarters as we continue to battle coronavirus in each our own way and try to stay safe. And we thank you all for being with us. I just went to FanDuel to check out the line on the Pistons game because I'm going to make that a pick to click this week. Chris Renwick, are you there with us, by the way? I don't know if Chris is on the line right now or not, but I'm not going to go to the game itself. Yeah, it's 9.5 is the Lakers favored over the Pistons tonight.
All right.
Instead, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go under 214.5. How's that?
Under 214.5. Okay.
That's right. That's what we're going with.
All right.
So I'm going to count on somebody defending LeBron tonight.
Yeah. All right.
Keep LeBron under 40 and we're going to win this thing. All right. We're not going big on that, by the way. That's going to be a little wager. But just for some fun, we'll go the Pistons under 214.5 against the Lakers tonight.
All right. Sounds good.
Go for defense.
You're brave.
Well, we got to have a pick to click. Got to do that.
That's
every
right.
week. Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Rich. Rich Lazinski's our engineer back
That's how I feel about that pick.
Well, we got everybody else who's listening to us right now going, oh, let's go to FanDuel and bet the over.
Exactly. Exactly.
Frank's got the under. Let's go the over. All right. Let's get back to the phones here. What do you say? We'll go to St. Clair Shores. And Don, thanks for waiting. You're on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning.
Hello, Frank. It makes me sad that you're retiring, but I guess you made that choice.
Well, thank you so kindly. Exactly. And it was not an easy choice. And I'll tell you the truth, Don. I wonder each and every day, do you really want to do this? And my answer keeps coming back, yes. So I'm going to move ahead with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm 70 and working full time yet, so and I have no thoughts in retiring. So,
well, God bless you. I hope that stays with you a long time. That you want to keep working too.
Well, let's say I come from longevity. I had an aunt that was driving at 99.5. So,
oh my goodness. God bless her.
So, my call is on the state services. You know, we have unemployment offices with nobody in them. We have other state agencies. I've been technically laid off since Thanksgiving and haven't been able to get through to the unemployment system.
Yeah, that's been a big problem all along. People have complained about that right from the start of the COVID lockdowns and the like. And I don't know that there's a simple answer for that one. What do you recommend?
I recommend that it needs to be run more like a business. I just don't, I'm not informed like you are. Are we paying state employees that were in the office sitting home?
I don't know what they're paying them. I would hope not, but anything is possible. So
I'm
a solid answer on that.
I'm in a construction and development business work for people for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
But when I understand, most of the state offices, like unemployment, Secretary of State office, whatever, they're all leased. So we as taxpayers are paying lease payments that, and getting no services out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can drive to the, Michigan Works, whatever, all these buildings, and they're totally empty. There's nobody there. So
the only answer is to stay in touch with your local legislator, whether it's in the House or state senator that represents you, and stay on top of them to follow up on this. That's all you can do. And then just remember when the election goes around too.
I've had people try on. I'm not computer literate. I got laid off, and I called every day on the phone for 2 weeks straight, and at 8:01 or 8 o'clock exactly, I call, and the message comes on. The phone system is overloaded, so they're not even taking phone calls at all.
That's been a very, very big complaint all along in this. That it's been impossible to reach the state and to get any sort of answers from the state's phone lines through the state's phone lines.
Right, and I'm in construction related. I was laid off from last winter when the COVID thing started. I believe it was in April. I chose to go back to work instead of collecting the federal unemployment and the state unemployment. Now that I work from April to Thanksgiving, I can't get through. They've taken my money, but I can't collect it. Basically.
Yeah, I feel your frustration, my friend. That's a tough road to take. I wish there was something I could offer you to overcome that.
I'm actually calling for other people because I'm in a financial position. It doesn't make any difference whether I collect unemployment or not. But for the young guy that's in the same situation with me that's got a couple kids, it's another story.
All right. I appreciate the call. Thanks so very much. Let's continue on the phones at 800-859-0957. And just for Chris Renwick, real fast, I did take Lakers and Pistons under as our pick to click, under 214.5, Chris. So there you go.
All right.
Just hope Kobe doesn't Kobe. Just hope LeBron doesn't hit for what is he averaging, like 42 right now?
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal.
If he goes to 42, this could be in trouble.
Yeah, your pick to click would take on some serious water.
Yeah, well, we're going under 214.5 on the Pistons game with the Lakers tonight. So there you go.
Fair enough.
That's the pick. Defense.
Yeah. Yeah, you better call Ben Wallace to get back out there.
Yeah, exactly. Could use him right now, right?
Yeah. Somebody's
got to shut Kobe down.
That's right. Or, LeBron,
LeBron. I mean, I keep saying Kobe. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the memories of him and missing him so much in the game of basketball after that tragic helicopter crash that took his life and so many others, including his daughter.
We just came up on the year anniversary of that a few days ago.
Exactly right.
Incredible.
Exactly right.
Can't believe it's been a year.
I know it. I can't believe he's gone still.
I know.
All right, let's go back to the phones here. 800-859-0957. I believe Bill in Livonia is next up on the line. Is that right? Bill, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing, Frank?
Good, Bill. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Just a few comments about the COVID vaccine. First of all, the gentleman that called earlier, when he said 500 doses, does that mean 500 vials where there are 6 shots per vial? I think we have to be a little more clear on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. We all have to be a little more careful when we talk about that because it does get confusing. Are we talking about vials? Are we talking about individual shots? I mean, what exactly are we referring to? And I don't think we get that explanation from members of our various governments or from the medical community right now. But I hope we'll get a little more guidance on that from them on exactly what they mean when they say that. But that's for moving forward. Appreciate it, and Bill, we thank you for the call. Have you had a shot, by the way? Have you had the vaccine? Okay, we'll take it up another time with Bill. We've got to go to a break right here. We got the news coming up bottom of the hour, and then we'll take more of your phone calls until noon on the Frank Beckmann Show. But right now, traffic and weather is first, and here's Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Looking for an easier way to find your next call center or accounting job? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com to find one of more than 830 locations to support any job search. And there's never a fee.
That accident along 75 southbound at Big Beaver, that collision is clear. Hines Drive shut down until 2 p.m., taking down that Light Fest display that's traveling eastbound and westbound between Outer Drive and Ann Arbor Trail. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. It's going to be a cold one this Thursday. Could see some snow flurries, cloudy skies, a high of 23. Tonight, partly cloudy into the teens, down to 13. Lots of sunshine to kick off the weekend on Friday and a high of 27. Cloudy skies, 19 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in about 2 minutes.
Governor Whitmer wants Line 5 shut down, with no plan to replace the essential energy it delivers. That means a shortage of millions of gallons of fuel every day. It's vital energy that heats homes, fuels transportation, and drives our industry.
All right, Frank. I got a story here for you.
Yes.
And I'm trying to find, because I just see the headline here. This is from the Wall Street Journal, so I'm trying to find an actual story. Okay. Oh, here you go. This is from, everybody's got it here. So let's see. Let's go to, how about we go to, we'll go to Freep. The headline reads, GM sets goal of eliminating tailpipe emissions, so no gas, no diesel vehicles, by the year 2035. So if my math is right, and I'm no mathematician, that would be 14 years?
Yeah,
is that correct? Wouldn't that put us at 2035?
Yeah, 14 years. So how many cars do they sell every year?
That's a good question. Let me read here for you. General Motors aspires to have all of its global new light-duty vehicles, including full-size pickups and SUVs, be zero emission by 2035. It also targets 2040 for its global products and plans to be carbon neutral. GM made the announcements Thursday, stopping.
What does that mean, carbon neutral?
No carbon. Carbon
that's
neutral.
Neutral. That's eliminating it. Period.
Well, I suppose. Made the announcement Thursday, stopping short of saying all of its vehicles will be zero emissions, which means either battery, electric, or hydrogen fuel cell propulsion.
Okay, I'm going to have you read me that story.
Okay.
I mean, on the air, because I don't have access to it here, and it's too tough for me to call up another screen.
I got you. Yeah, I'll
I got
read
my
it.
watch screen. I got my phone screen. I got the screen on my laptop, and then behind it, turned off, is my regular screen, my computer screen.
I got you. I just sent you the link to our text group, but I'll read it for you on the air. Wow, this is pretty groundbreaking, I'd say.
I'd say they're out of their frickin' minds. For what purpose?
Well, to be environmentally friendly, to cut down on their carbon footprint.
It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. The carbon footprint from automobiles is tiny, okay, compared to the oceans, where most of the carbon comes from, period. There's no arguing. And carbon's not bad anyways.
All right, let me see here. I want to see.
That's why we got to get that Frank Jamerson on.
Okay.
He worked at General Motors. He was a top engineer.
Well, this is a bigger story now. GM sales, let's say 2019. GM sells more than 1 million crossovers again in 2019, delivered 2.8 million vehicles in 2019. The totals included more than 1 million crossovers for the second year in a row. So 2.8 million vehicles in 2019. Oh, let me get you back here. We got to do Newsmax, or I'm sorry, FanDuel here in just a second.
Our largest central clinic, and we have recently opened up 2 more what we'll call regional centers, which have been dependent on our ability to get vaccines. So we have pressed pause on our Troy clinic at this time. Our Dearborn one is functional.
A warning from the FDA about imported hand sanitizer that could have some very serious side effects. Fox's Eben Brown has the details.
This has to do with hand sanitizer products imported from Mexico. The FDA says 200 different products could contain methadol or methyl alcohol, otherwise known as wood alcohol. It's poisonous, and using it could lead to blindness, heart issues, and even death. The FDA alert means importers should be on the lookout for the products, and so should consumers. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The Dow right now up a hefty 568 points. The NASDAQ is up 126. For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne. We'll have more with Frank in just a moment.
And welcome back into the Frank Beckmann Show, coming to you from our home quarters. That's where our studios are set up. And this morning we're coming to you via StreamYard as well. So for those of you joining us on StreamYard, thank you. We appreciate it. It's been fun. I want to mention to you, though, one of our great sponsors, because, we've been talking about betting on football games and basketball games and the like, but FanDuel is really the place to do it. FanDuel Sportsbook, and it's live in Michigan now. It's official. To celebrate this, they have really kicked things off in a big way. FanDuel is giving new users their first bet risk-free. Now, I know this because my first bet on FanDuel, I picked the wrong side, and guess what? I got my money back. That's right. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. I don't bet that much, but some people do, and they can get that money back if they don't win that first bet. So not only can you bet on all your favorite teams, but you'll get up to $1,000 back if you don't win that first bet. And that's just one of the reasons why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel, FanDuel Sportsbook, is giving you the chance to get an even bigger win when you bet the Lakers-Pistons game tonight. For every 313 fans who bet on the Pistons to cover the spread, FanDuel Sportsbook is going to move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. So what is it right now? 10.5. 313 fans get in, you'll get the Pistons up to 11.5. And then another 313 fans get in, you get it up to 12.5. FanDuel Sportsbook. They're going to move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. There's no limit how good this line can get either. As long as enough fans keep betting it, the line's going to keep on moving. Best of all, they're going to pay you out of whatever the line lands on at tip-off, so you don't have to wait to get in on the action. This is how you play it. If you haven't signed up yet for FanDuel Sportsbook in Michigan, don't stay on the sidelines. Deposit and place your first risk-free bet up to $1,000. The bet is risk-free. After you place your risk-free bet, go to the Spread the Love Market. Place a bet, maximum $50 on the Pistons and Lakers. I'll be betting on all the sports action at FanDuel all season long, and that goes for hockey and basketball. The Super Bowl's coming up. They've got a secure and simple-to-use app. They offer live betting on every game, and they've got exhilarating bet types, such as same-game parlays, where you combine multiple bets from one game into a single parlay. Once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get you your winnings in as little as 24 hours, too, because it's the right thing to do. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, FanDuel Sportsbook app, and be sure to sign up with the promo code FRANK. so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook. Promo code Frank.
21 and older and present in Michigan. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Beaumont doctors and caregivers continue to lead the way through the COVID-19 crisis, and we are dedicated to keeping you safe in our care. We're taking extra steps to protect the health and safety of all our patients and caregivers so you can feel confident coming to Beaumont. Come to us in an emergency. Talk to your doctor to begin scheduling necessary screenings and procedures. Our expert Beaumont doctors and caregivers are here to help you. See how we're keeping you safe at beaumont.org/safe.
The Frank Beckmann Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
And welcome back into the show. We'll take your phone calls the rest of the way this morning at 800-859-0957. After we speak with one more guest on the program who's been a longtime friend of the program, we're happy to say he's a state representative from, a senator, I should say, from Flint, Democrat, and the Michigan Senate Minority Leader, Jim Ananick, back with us on the program. How are you, sir? It's good to see you. Now, I can't hear you. I don't know why, but
hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Good to see you.
Good to have you on the program, and a little different last night for the state of the state, but the governor did deliver, and I'll tell you what, I was overall very impressed. I didn't think she was overly political. I thought she stood by her moves on the coronavirus and the shutdowns that she's made, but I did not find her to be politically where you'd say, well, that's just, her, she wants to run for re-election and all of that. I never felt that during the whole address. How about you?
No, I think it was a pretty pragmatic. Here's our road out of the pandemic. Kind of hope-filled. These are the things we have to do. Here's the ways we can improve on, the roads and on helping small businesses. I mean, I think it was very bipartisan. I hope that it was received that way by the Republicans, and we can get some things done.
Well, the Republicans we spoke with this morning, both Speaker Wentworth and Leader Shirkey said that they're ready to go to work with the governor, and they seemed pleased too that she put out these ideas and was willing to talk. Now, what they're saying is, when it gets to reality, though, you got to sit down and talk and listen to the other side and engage in some of their ideas too, incorporate them into what you're doing. Agree?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's been one of the biggest problems. The governor has, I think, about 5 standing meetings a week with legislators. Almost every day there's a meeting with a data meeting, data on all the scientific metrics and things like that. Meetings on health, meetings on the economy. And, the difference is, from the Republican side, they're so used to just having 8 years of having total control that they think sitting down means that everything they say is going to get implemented. Well, in life, it's compromise. When you're married, you don't. I mean, I know I sure don't get 50%, but you sit down and try to get to a number that, like, okay, here's some ideas, here's some of yours. Let's compromise and get it done. We've done it a number of times over the last 2 years. I think in large part because of the governor's leadership, but we need to continue to do that. I mean, it's really important that we get this right, especially as we come out and get our economy back strong again. Get our get health and safety back. It's extremely important, and make sure that people have confidence to do the things they need to do. Because, I mean, you can open up every restaurant in the state. If people don't have the confidence to go in them, they're going to be empty. And we can't allow for that to happen. So we have to build the confidence back as well.
The issue, though, for a lot of people is just give us that choice. Let us make the choice of whether we want to go into that restaurant, just like we do right now, going into a Target store or anything else. Give us the choice. We know what the dangers are. We know how to stay apart. We know what precautions we're supposed to take. Let us be adults.
Well, and I think because of the spread and the flattening of the curve so much, that's going to happen starting on Monday, and I think that we'll start to see more capacity. One of the things that I was disappointed to see some of the House Republicans come up with is sort of this top-down, politicians knows best approach, saying we're not going to give you any money unless you mandate every school opens up in-person learning right away. I mean, some school districts don't want to do that. They want to have virtual. That's what the parents want. They want to have hybrid, where some people are inside, some are out. And they want to have full, and some of them want to have full opening up. Michigan is different, right? Detroit's different than Menominee, right? I mean, Holland's different than Flint. And I think we should trust the citizens a little bit, right? And I think this idea from the House Republicans plan that came out saying we're going to hold back $3.5 billion if you don't open up every school right away. I think I've never been a believer. We've talked about this I don't know how many dozen times, Frank. I've been on here all the time. I'm not a believer that politicians knows best, right? I mean, I don't mind. I think the public, the health experts, working together is how we get out of this. And I think that's going to be the way going forward. I hope that we can, find some common ground on that.
Yeah, and it's tough to deal with this because we don't really have any kind of example of how we're supposed to deal with this this whole COVID-19 outbreak that's continuing to be devilish.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that now that we're taking that President Biden is going to amplify and increase the amount of vaccines and start to get those in a more comprehensive way. Once we start having vaccines, once we have a real comprehensive testing strategy, and then we can still maintain a lot of the safety protocols that we've had in place and really encourage folks to keep doing the things that we need to be doing, and then start to, get back to regular life, because, the mental health effects on everybody, not just our kids, but on everybody, is staggering. I mean, it's I know you're seeing, the fact that we've allowed this pandemic to rage the way it has for the last year is causing lasting effects, and we have to get it under control. And then once we do that, I think we can get a hold of the economy. We can get a hold of so much other things. I mean, in America, we don't say we failed. No, we grab the problem by its horns and say we're going to take it down, and we can do that with COVID, and I think we're going to.
When do you see it happening, though? Is there discussion with the medical experts on the governor's staff or within the Health and Human Services Department about when we might see a complete reopening of the economy once again? When the virus might stop being such a threat to us?
Well, we know that we've dramatically reduced the spread, 2 and 3 times better than our neighboring states. So we're heading in the right direction. And on Monday, the restaurants will be open back up again. There'll be very little that's not open. And then I think as we go forward, we're trying to get to vaccination rates of 50,000, I believe, a day, all across the state. Once we get that number really up and running, and we'll start to have herd immunity, we really will have a much better control of this. So now it's just getting access to the vaccines, which for a long time we didn't have. Even though they're being made right, just to the west of us in Portage. So hopefully that will dramatically speed up. Hopefully we can make sure that we have good metrics to make sure that we can continue to open up in a safe way, in a smart way, and then make sure that our kids address their learning loss, because this last year is not the year of education for anybody, and we're going to have to do our best to make sure that all of our students catch up. And I think I think we can do it.
We really appreciate that. It's uplifting, it's supportive, and I appreciate that from you, Jim Ananick. Always have as the Senate Minority Leader. We really appreciate the time. And hey, I've got one other question though. I've got to ask you.
Sure.
Governor Granholm, the former governor of Michigan, is up for energy secretary, and through the investigation of her finances and Dan Mulhern's finances, we learned that they own somewhere between $4 and $15 million worth of real estate. I didn't know the governor's job paid that well.
It's a lot better. It's a lot more than I have.
Me too.
I've got one house in Flint.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, thanks for being with us. Great to have you on the show again.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Indeed. All right, take care. That's Jim Ananick, the Senate Minority Leader here on the Frank Beckmann Show, a frequent guest on the program. We love having him on, and we'll continue to get some of your phone calls in just a moment. Right now, traffic and weather is first, and here's Dana Clark.
Just watching a moving work crew blocking your 2 right lanes, 696 westbound between Greenfield and your 96 275 interchange. That midday construction is slated to clear at 3 p.m. this afternoon, but expect delays. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving.com has durable storage products for your business, from trusted Metro brand wire and plastic shelving to Unirack pallet racking. They also offer high-density storage and gravity flow racks to help optimize space. Order now at Shelving.com. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high. Down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. It'll be dry on Saturday with a chance of some snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
Are fears of a stock market downturn preventing you from investing? Hi, I'm Rick Edelman. You know you need to invest to get better returns, but you're worried about losing a lot of money if stocks fall. Well, I have the answer for you. Introducing Downside Defender. This new service lets you own a diversified portfolio, but it lets you tell us a target value that you don't want your portfolio to go below. And welcome.
Come back in.
All right, Frankie, here, let's get a couple here in real quick before we go. Maria, by the way, is very disappointed. Of course, Frank finally went live on Facebook, and I had Zoom meetings the first 2 hours.
That's funny.
She's been a big
do this more often.
You're right. She's been a big proponent in getting you on. Bill, Lord and Taylor got wiped out. How much of that due to the China virus? Well, I
was worried that people like that first listener were going to say, Frank, we look at you now on this StreamYard telecast, and we see that you really do have a face made for radio.
Well, those are on here too. I'm just trying to be nice and weed those out for you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nobody said that.
By the way, the Attorney General in New York State, Letitia James,
said
the State Department of Health. Wait till you hear this. In fact, I think you're the one who sent it to me originally.
Mm-hmm.
The State Department of Health in New York underreported COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes by as much as 50%. Underreported. So why? That's the question. Andrew Cuomo, the governor there, is being held accountable for that, for his handling of all of this in the early months. He directed nursing homes, you might remember, to accept patients who had or were suspected of having COVID-19. Alberta, and his amazing. You've got a very similar situation here in Michigan.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So,
I got the GM story too. If you want it, just let me know if you want it.
Yeah, go ahead, give it to me.
All right. Well, I'll if you want me to read it, I'll read it to you. Just call for me if you want. No, when we get on the air.
Alberta practically wrote the book
myself out.
Guaranteed minimum income accounts. How about fee-based money management? Principium's team is cutting edge and in constant communication with their clients. 401k rollovers, tax efficiency, legacy planning, IRA management, you name it. Chris even has an in-house estate planning attorney for his clients to use at no cost. The time has come, folks. There's too much uncertainty out there to simply roll the dice and hope things work out. Hope is not a strategy. While some advisors push high commission annuities and even more simply convince you that the market will continue its record run, we both know that you need a solution that both limits the risk and keeps the door open for future gains. Principium is your ticket. It's time for those conservative folks to actually conserve. Stop the endless fees. Stop the unnecessary risk. Stop the anxiety. Start retiring the Frank Beckmann way. Less risk, more reward, real relationships. Call the Principium team at 888-800-8949 or visit retirelikefrank.com. 888-800-8949 or retirelikefrank.com.
Hi, I'm Connie Holzer. I wanted to take the time to thank you for supporting our dealership during these difficult times. Everyone at our dealership is extremely appreciative of your loyal support. We've taken every precaution to make sure that you have a safe and enjoyable experience at Tom Holzer Ford. So come see us at 10 Mile and Haggerty in Farmington Hills. You know, we'll take great care of you as always. We appreciate you buying American, buying Ford, and buying from Tom Holzer Ford. Thank you.
Have you seen what's happening with the stock market? Record highs every day. How long can this possibly go on for? By the way, this is exactly what happened right before the 2000.com bubbles burst. Remember that? Protect your savings in retirement by putting them into something safe like real gold and silver. I'm not talking about gold or silver stocks, but into real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. Now, the Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's so much easier than you think. So call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. The Oxford Gold Group is the only gold and silver company that I trust, and you should too. Get the Oxford Gold Investment Guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home or how to have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
The Frank Beckmann Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
All right, we're going to get back to your phone calls here at 800-859-0957. General Motors has announced, by the way, that it aspires to have all of its new light-duty vehicles globally, including full-size pickups and SUVs, to be zero emission by 2035. It also targets 2040 for its global products and plants to be carbon neutral. They say that this will save the environment and save the world from man-made climate change. One problem, GM, and I would think that all of you well-educated people would be wise enough to look these things up and really apply them to your business. There is no such thing as man-made climate change. You cannot impact the climate of the world. You are too small, no matter how big you think you are. So go ahead and make your vehicles zero emissions. Don't expect all of us to buy them when the price goes up, though, because this is a fool's errand, quite frankly. By 2040, 100% of our portfolio will be fully electric. That's the vision we're setting out. GM signed the Business Ambition Pledge for 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is a call by a global coalition of UN agencies, business and industry leaders to protect the environment. I wonder if GM knows that the UN's own IPCC, in one of its reports very early on, came to the conclusion, all of these experts, that the climate's temperature, the temperature of our world, is not impacted by CO2. Instead, CO2 is impacted by the temperature. In other words, temperature goes up, CO2 goes up, not the other way around. And we'll continue to cover that for you on the Frank Beckmann Show. Chris, we've got an expert that we have run across that we're going to get on the show at some point, too. A man who used to work on the electric vehicle projects. He was number 2 at General Motors back in the 60s, Frank Jamerson. And if you get a chance to look up his stuff, I know you've seen it, but I'm telling our audience, if you get a chance to look up Frank Jamerson, Jamerson, look it all up. He's done a lot of work on this, and he points out that, catalytic converters were originally there for the smog out in California, and they did the job. He says, so, what we did worked, but all of this, the CO2 stuff and man-made climate change, it's just absolutely senseless. And so if you look up all of his material, you'll find that it's really some great stuff.
Wow.
So at any rate, we'll have him on at some point very, very soon. Again, his name is Frank Jamerson. When you hear him, all I can tell you is hold on to your hat, because he's going to either upset you if you're a believer in man-made climate change, or really boost you if you're like me and look at this and have looked at the rational arguments and say, you know what, that's impossible for us to impact it that way. Just cannot happen. All right, let's get back to the phones. What do you say in the time we've got left in Clinton Township? Frank, you're on the Frank Beckmann Show. Good morning.
Good morning, Frank. I feel as though the governor and the administrators of the vaccine are just not serious about the most vulnerable people that could have the vaccine and die. The reports are that the people under 25 years old have 1 in a million chance of dying if they get it. The folks 75 and older, 80 of 100 will die if they get this vaccine, or if they get the virus.
I haven't seen that number.
The vaccine could stop the death of these older folks. And
you know what you're saying here, Frank? It makes sense then, what the governor is doing and what we're aiming for nationally, and that is to get this vaccine distributed to elderly people first. After the first responders, obviously, but the elderly people among the general population first, because they're most at risk here.
Exactly, and this is just not happening. And one of the problems that they're not addressing is that these older folks, 75 and old till 90s, most of them just do not have computers or cell phones. And the distributor to get on the list to get the vaccine, you almost, in all the counties I have checked, you need either a cell phone or a computer to get on.
Yeah.
I have a brother that's in western Wayne County. He's 73 years old, World War II veteran, and he just trying his hardest to get it, but he uses his landline telephone. And the folks in Wayne County, he calls the health department. They say they're not taking calls. He goes to St. Mary's Hospital, which is part of St. Joseph's system out there in Trinity. And they say, don't call us, we'll call you. He called his physician, his doctor office. They told him to call the Meyer store. And so he called the Meyer store. They gave him an appointment for a vaccine in September.
Wow. See, that's one of the problems is some of these are so delayed, and we still don't have enough out there readily available for people to make it a smooth process for everybody. That's the bottom line. And that's nobody's fault. That's just the development of the vaccine and the way we're getting it distributed as best we can at the moment. I appreciate the call. Thank you so very much. We're out of time for this morning on the Frank Beckmann Show. Stay tuned. The news and the Rush Limbaugh Show coming up, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9 till noon. Thanks to our great staff, Rich Lazinski, Cameron Knox, Chris Renwick, everybody who helped out on the program this morning. And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody, on the Frank Beckmann Show.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.com.